everyday rap.
That's a fact, though.
Sometimes Tom Mish. Maybe not High School Musical, but if that's your
High School
bag,
Musical's
that's your
random.
bag.
I'll be real. High School Musical's random. I was like, you know what? Let me not change it. So I ain't listened to this in about 10 years. Let me not switch it up. Why not? Do you know what Breaking Free does to people?
Listen,
sometimes?
big tune,
Oh, man.
That is actually a really big tune. If I could tell you a few people I've sang that song with that are gangsters, you'd be shocked. A lot of people rate High School Musical.
I wouldn't even be shocked, to be honest.
Man. I still remember the next day at school. I will never forget the next day at school. The true story, sorry. The next day at school after High School Musical dropped, we went to the Astro, and I'll never forget. I was in like year 9 or year 10, and everybody was just there, innit? We're all just standing there. So is anyone going to speak about High School Musical? I will never forget.
What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 107 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast with your boys Peter,
Yo,
Mohammed,
Yeah.
and myself, Yemi. And today we're joined by a special guest. She's one of the most recognisable DJs, broadcasters and personalities in the UK with over 10 years in this game. Having gone from music journalism to becoming the host of her very own radio show, the Tiffany Calver Show on BBC Radio 1 Extra. Having made history when she became the first woman to host Radio 1's rap show. She throws parties and releases records under the No Request banner. And has DJ'd for the likes of Jay-Z, Beyonce and Drake. And she has her own interview series on her YouTube channel. We welcome the incredible Tiffany Calver to the pod today.
Yay! I wish I could always walk into a room and that happen. It's just like just a quick highlights reel of like, this is who I am.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
That'd be really nice.
How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm nervous. I'm never really the interviewee. So just be prepared for me to throw questions back at you a lot and kind of dodge.
I've noticed you were doing that pre-production as well.
Yeah. It's not a protective thing.
Yeah,
it's
you
just
can't help
habit. Yeah. I'll start interviewing you.
You know what? This is going to be a very interesting episode.
Yeah.
Quite interesting chat, so that's cool.
All right, good.
Well, thank you for joining us nonetheless.
Of course.
Yes, long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, no,
we're
it
here.
is,
But we're here.
it
But we're here
is.
now. But we're here
It
now.
is, yeah.
We're here now. Boys, what we saying?
All good, bro. How are you, man?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. Mo?
Chilling, man. Same old. Good is good all the time.
All the time, God is
Time
good.
God is good.
There we go.
And Drake's is with us as well.
Hey.
First time this year.
So,
Who's saying G? Yes. Big up to everybody watching and listening. Big up the YouTube massive, the Spotify massive, the Apple Podcast massive, everyone else out there. Appreciate you. Make sure that you follow us on all platforms, especially on YouTube. Leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we drop episodes. And we'd be truly, truly grateful. Now, Tiff,
Yes.
there's a tradition on this pod where we ask our guests, firstly, to name us their top 5 favourite rappers.
No.
Wait, what?
No. No, sorry. Understood.
So it could be
Yeah.
straight just UK, straight just US, or a mixture. Whatever you decide. It could be, you could do each of them. Whatever you decide, really.
Where is Lily? I feel like I was not mentally prepared to put this on record on camera. This is kind of life or death.
Really?
It is.
Oh, for real.
It's serious.
Yeah. This is tough. I'd also just like to say it changes seasonally, daily, cancelled vibes. You know, you never know who's in your top 5
At the moment.
anymore. Yeah. Okay. Well, Jay-Z's back
Okay.
in at the minute. He can be back in, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Jay-Z's back in for sure. Would he be number 1? There is one I don't think he can be back in now.
He can't be.
He can't be.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay, yeah. I mean, he did it to himself, didn't he, really? Well, that's one gone. See what I mean? It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Very techy.
Damn. Okay. Who else is about these days? I'm going to put Kendrick in there.
Mhm.
I'm going to put Drake in there.
Mhm.
So what have I got? Jay-Z, Kendrick, Drake. None cancelled. Fantastic. 2 more. Ooh, tough. Oh, this is tough. Do I need to put a UK person in here?
You don't have to.
Don't have to.
I do, don't I?
Actually,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
watching
yeah,
me.
yeah, actually,
True,
yeah,
to be
yeah.
fair.
No, okay, if I had to choose one to represent the UK, I'm going to obviously say Skep. We can talk about that if you want. I'm happy to explain. God, 5. How'd you do this?
It's tough.
It's tough. My one changes.
Mine changes
My
all
one
the
changes.
time.
After.
J. Cole's in yours, I know
Absolutely.
Nah.
Absolutely is.
Why are you like
J. Cole, J. Cole, J. Cole, J. Cole, J. Cole.
Dial on.
Dial on.
What have I said? Okay. In no specific order, J. Cole...
Oi!
Wait, no.
Clip that.
No,
Secret J. Cole stand.
Okay, in no particular order. Sorry, J. Cole, you're out. Top 5. No particular order. Just want to stress that again. Jay-Z. I was about to say it again. I'm so nervous now. Kendrick, Drake. Am I putting Skepta? I'm putting Skepta in there. Yeah. Skepta's in there. This is hard.
It's tough.
I'm gonna leave like a mysterious
question mark
around 5 because there's so many. I think it will come to me by the end of the podcast.
Okay.
What about some honourable mentions then? If you're not going to commit to a 5th,
Honourable mentions.
who could have been in there?
Oh gosh, it just depends. Do you know what I mean? It's like who am I trying to impress right now?
I mean,
like what is the conversation? Because if it was like in your heart of hearts, deep down, who's in your top 5? Crime Mob would be in there. You know?
Yeah. But by all means, yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to say Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
She's a rapper to me.
100%.
That's an honourable mention, though. 5, we're still going to find out later on. Stay tuned.
Okay, so what is there about Jay then?
Jay-Z, I think, again, it was the cheat code for me. I was raised on a lot of Jay-Z. In fact, it's almost like I would compare the way my mum raised me listening to Jay-Z to, I guess, when you're raised in a religious household and you're kind of like, you know, you inherit the religion in the house. That is Jay-Z to my mum. So I didn't really have a choice, to be honest. But I grew up just respecting his penmanship. I respected just the dominance he had, both in hip hop, but then how it crossed over into mainstream. I loved the resilience of him. I loved his story and how they told that story. You know, growing up, it's so inspiring. I loved even finding out the way he writes. Like, I thought that was just the most impressive thing ever as a kid. I was such a fan of that. He made the hits that, you know, me and my friends would listen to. And, you know, my friends don't care about hip hop. I'm from Telford. Like, do you know what I mean? But, like, they'd know Jay-Z tunes. And then I had my, you know, my tunes that it was just me and my mum listening to at home, or like when I had the radio on the weekends and it was just me. So he kind of just appealed in so many ways. It's like he's headlining you know, Radio 1's Big Weekender or whatever, like in Hackney, or he's doing Glastonbury or these big commercial feats, but he's also almost like my best kept secret against everybody else. Like, I had my own personal fandom for him. So yeah, and he's a businessman, you know. Gotta respect it. One of the first entrepreneurial, I guess, role models a lot of that generation had for hip hop. He kind of really flied that flag, so he's got to be in there. Is he in your top 5?
Absolutely.
He's my goal.
He's not in mine.
He's my goal.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he's not in mine.
Also in your top 5.
Oh, he's been consistent with that.
I've been consistent with it. Listen, at first when I was younger growing up, because it was in the house all the time, and I was almost like you, I felt like I was kind of forced to like him.
Yeah.
I kind of rejected that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you went the hipster route.
I guess so,
Yeah.
but no.
Enter MF Doom.
No,
Enter MF
it wasn't Enter MF Doom, actually. I don't know why I'm biting. Anyway, no, it was Nas, more often than not. But as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate Jay a lot more, like, and his catalogue and stuff. Like, I think like his catalogue on the whole is great for the most part. But at first I was like, I'm probably gonna not like you just because everybody else does.
Interesting. My love for Nas grew later on in life. The same way I guess you had it with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So you were team Nas.
Yeah.
See, rap beefs, they are mad
does something.
things.
Mad divisive,
like,
innit?
Because I was like that with Biggie.
It's like Romeo and
Like, when I was
Juliet.
growing up,
For real.
I didn't appreciate Biggie at all when I was growing up. At all when I was growing
Really?
up. Yeah, because I think, and this is no word of a lie, I think Hit 'Em Up was one of the first songs I knew every single word to.
Yeah.
I have no business knowing it. Looking back now, I have no business knowing that song. But that was one of the first songs I knew word for word. So it's just, When you're 8, 9, it's just like they drill it into you.
It's a very
Yeah.
impressionable
Yeah.
age,
I
innit? So,
can't do
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why you don't like Tupac? Because you felt like it was forced.
I don't think he. I'm not answer for him.
You know what? So obviously our sister was a big Tupac fan. She had a poster of him in her bedroom. But I was always just a Biggie head.
Okay.
I was always a Biggie fan, to be honest. I never hated Tupac. I never disliked him. I just preferred Biggie, and that's always that's carried through, to be honest.
I think I was more. My mum played a lot of Biggie and Tupac, a bit like you with Hit 'Em Up. Mine was, I wonder why they call you. I was like, why do I? Why? What? Cool. But I think I always preferred East Coast growing up.
Yeah.
I was more an East Coast fan than a West Coast. Yeah.
I'm an East Coast guy, but Pac, that's like, it's probably my second favorite.
I mean,
record.
Tupac's East Coast too.
Yeah,
If we're gonna talk about it.
If you want to be technical, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Do you have a favorite J album?
Yeah, it changes again. I think I'm kind of going through like a weird life and times moment at the minute. When I was younger, again, I don't know, maybe it was the commercial appeal of the Black Album or something, but that was my, can I swear?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my shit growing up. I don't know if that's like the one to say was, but I just really loved that one. But I don't know, it interchanges for me. There are albums that I didn't like when I was a kid because it was so wordsy, if that makes sense. Like, I just wanted the bangers.
Yeah.
And then I've gone back in recent times, especially in lockdown, and like just rediscovered songs that I'd have never, like Imaginary Players is one of my favourite songs of all time now. But like, I did not care about that song when I was a child. So I've got like a new appreciation for, I guess, the older stuff, I guess. But now you've said Biggie, and I'm like, should he have been in my top 5? And that's where my head is at right now. I'm not gonna lie. Biggie would be in my top 5.
Okay.
But I got to take someone out.
No, you
That's your fifth.
No. We've got to leave room there. For
It's gonna keep changing
Oh yeah.
throughout the episode.
All right. Well,
Probably.
yeah. J. Cole's gonna end up back in, isn't he?
You said his name.
Slightly.
It's too late. He's cemented there.
If we say his name one more time, he's gonna appear in the studio right
Yeah,
now.
literally.
So what is it about Kendrick?
With Kendrick, Kendrick was the first, I think, time in my life I feel like I discovered something. Like, I was at that age. I probably started listening to Kendrick when I was like 16, and I was in college, and I just felt like it's that thing that, I don't know, any fan has where you're literally discovering something really exciting for the first time. I wasn't force-fed it. I wasn't brought up listening to him. My friends didn't think he was cool. Like, there was no influence of it. I feel like I found him on YouTube and reading the blogs and doing whatever, and that was my kind of discovery, and that was a very natural, I guess, interest that peaked from there, and I just instantly connected. And this is obviously before any of his tapes started coming out. Like, we hadn't even hit that era. I just really tapped into TDE and Absol and Kendrick and J-Rock and just that whole collective. I just found it really exciting, and I think back at that time he kind of gave me the not like backpack rap vibe, but the way he would dress and the way he'd speak and whatever. I was just like, okay, like, it wasn't too far away from the stuff I'd listened to before, but there was something really interesting about him that I was just, I don't know, I just instantly was glued to him. I was like, okay, this is cool. What is this? And then the tapes started coming out, and I was just in. Like, I can't describe it. I was just like, I believe in this person. And I just wanted to, that was the first person I got to like champion to my friends and whatever. Because everybody else, it's like, even, you know, Drake's in the top 5 as well, but that's a whole different conversation in itself. Everybody listened to Drake. You know what I mean? Everybody played Drake. I didn't discover him and share it with everyone. It was like a shared.
It was already kind of.
Yeah. But Kendrick was mine.
No, I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear it.
Yeah.
So what about Drake?
Yeah, with Drake. So I think the first time I ever heard a Drake record was on BT. I was in the Caribbean, and it was actually a Trey Songz record called Replacement Girl. That was the first time, 106 and Park, I'd ever heard of Drake. And I think the reason I like that song is because he said he knew girls from the UK and from Spain back out and I was like, he said the UK. And then, again, just it was that time, wasn't it, of the blogs, music blogs, MySpace, just that whole era. His name just kept popping up more and more, and this is obviously before records like Find Your Love or whatever, but mixtape Drake was a thing for sure, and just being a part of that conversation was really exciting. And then even, you know, they made it really cool with what they did with the October's very own blog, and I was just super in, and all of my friends were too, so we got to talk about it and like all kind of fan out. And then I used to love all of the demos that, you know, I remember there was one demo and then Rita Ora ended up having it as a song. I was like, I didn't even know what songwriting was like back then. I was just like, wait, that's a Drake demo. Like I was like, wait, what's that? What's going on? Just watching the growth of an artist that you feel like, again, you and all your friends have found. And then they just become this massive superstar. And he was that person that provided, I guess, what Jay-Z had provided before, in a way, of like the commercial hits, the mixtape hits, that you get everything from that person. He became that new version, but he appealed in a different way because I felt like he was definitely more geared towards the female audience in a way. Like he did bring that R&B flavor into everything. He was not a rapper really. Like when I first got into Drake, it wasn't because I was like, oh, he's hard, like he's a sick rapper. It was, he made sick music, like, and that's kind of where it started, and here we are.
I hear it.
I mean, listen, no matter what's happened to him recently, like, you can't take that.
No, the way you said that is crazy.
No, but I'm saying that to say, like, I'm saying that to say, like, despite all that, like, he is also very, very important. He's like, if rap was a book, I think he'd have his own chapter.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we forget how important he has been to like modern rap, and you know he does deserve.
You think we forget?
We take
in the midst of everything. I think so. Yeah,
I think sometimes without noticing it,
I think so.
We can take it for granted.
No, we
you know
don't.
What,
do you know how hard
I've
I've
realised?
a 15-year run? I've never seen anything like this.
I think that sadly, the way that women aren't allowed to age, I don't think rappers are allowed to age. Like, I don't know. I find there's this weird disconnect with audience where you hit a certain age as a rapper. For example, let's take like Eminem, right? There was a time where I feel like Eminem just needed to stop. Like, just stop rapping.
That's a fact.
Like, keep your legacy kind of thing. And he didn't. And he kind of flopped a little bit and people just weren't engaging because they could not connect to it anymore. I think you have to play a very smart game as a rapper who is coming towards 40 with how you present yourself.
I think you got to grow.
Yeah.
I think you naturally have to grow. Like some people do it, like Jay-Z 444. That's a perfect.
Yeah,
that's a
no,
perfect
100%. Jay-Z has aged and he's matured in the perfect way.
Exactly that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think your music has to, if you're making the same music that he's making at 22 at 38, 39, 40, it can't stand that test of time. It just can't. Like, just naturally your fans are going to grow up.
Yeah, 100, and I think that's the weird part maybe we're in now, where it's like
that's exactly I think what's
you've
going on.
got fans who grew up listening to you, but then you've also, you know, you're collaborating with all of these young fans and musicians and whatever, they're also engaged with you, so it must be quite difficult to figure out how to juggle like what is that and where he's so much bigger than one genre. I don't know, that shit scares that scares me a lot.
It's tricky.
I'm gonna have to ask ChatGPT about that, because it's just it's kind of he's everything, isn't he? He's not just one thing. How do you even pinpoint the conversation around him? Because it's like you could go in any direction. We were talking about it earlier. Padre, what?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. I think he's in a very precarious situation right now.
It's difficult because I think he can. So it's cut you off. I think he can dictate it though. I think he's been at the center of most things around our culture for so long, as far as being the hottest artist for X amount of years, that he can dictate the perception, but it feels as though he's kind of just following as opposed to like taking charge.
Listen, I think it's been a very entertaining time. Selfishly, I've really enjoyed the spotlight being put back on hip hop, because I'm in a lot of rooms where the conversation around, or the narrative around hip hop and just the absolute turning of backs to investing into it had completely gone. Like they were looking at other things. They did not want a part of it. And then all of a sudden, here's your great reminder that this is the biggest thing in the world, right? So I think selfishly, I enjoyed that. I think some horrible shit has been said. Like, wow, ouch, on both sides. I think it's been ugly. I think when it hit Meet the Grahams and onwards, I was like, oh, this isn't funny anymore.
It's getting
you know,
Drake started
and it did get dark. And I think everyone's allowed to be entertained by shit. I think the thing is that it's almost like the David versus Goliath thing, right? It's like that's kind of the narrative around it. Drake is Goliath. If you look at like musically, who he represents, what he represents, how long he's been doing it, all of the accolades, all of the just how much he is in everybody's life somehow. My nan, right? Well, let's not even talk about that actually, because she has a Drake tattoo on her arm. Don't want to talk about it.
For real?
Yeah.
Hey, shout your nan.
Shout out you. Yeah. They hugged once. Anyway. But like my nan in Telford knows who he, do you know what I mean? He is so a part of everybody's, it's so much bigger than that. So I think the fun for a lot of people was seeing the David in the situation of Kendrick, who isn't David, by the way. He is a Pulitzer Prize winning crazy man,
18
right?
Grammys or something like that.
You know what I mean?
Like,
He in his own lane is and will always be something so special to hip hop. Drake is a bigger conversation than hip hop, right? This is a hip hop game. This is a hip hop match of like, and this is what happens when you're at the absolute top. I think it was entertaining for fans to see two people at the absolute top of, and however you see it, you know, Drake or Kendrick haters, like two people at the absolute top of the game going against each other. This is way more entertaining than, you know, him against anybody else. I don't even think you'd want a reply from either of them for anybody else. It's like, oh shit, this is like the biggest boxing match ever, right? And yeah, I think the one thing I would say is we are living this in real time. I was too young to experience Jay-Z versus Nas. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we still talk about it. Yeah, we'll still talk about this in 20 years. We got to live through this shit. Like, it's quite fun, but there will be a return. And I just think it's going to be really interesting. Because I'm a broadcaster. I've played both records. I've laughed along with everyone. I've wheeled up tunes. Do you know what I mean? But I'm impartial. Like, that's my job.
Yeah, of course.
Relationships aside, friendships, loyalty aside, my job is the most important thing to me, and music is the most important thing to me. And I've listened to both. I've played both. I've supported both. But when he comes back around, I'm not going to feel stupid because I picked a side.
Of course,
it's just music. I think people take it to heart. You know, but they won't, because like we'll move on.
We're fickle.
He'll be fine.
We're fickle. All it needs is one hit.
Not taken away from Kendrick, but I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. So I was saying that there's bigger things at play here with Drake.
Love a conspiracy theory.
I said that,
let's go.
I said he's been alluding to the higher ups trying to take him out for a while, and so I think there's something deeper happening behind the scenes where a button was pushed. Like, okay, cool. You know what? Now it's time to really pull this guy apart. And that's what I think is in there as well. Again, not taken away from what Kendrick has done, but I do think that's in there too.
Yeah.
And these men are like completely dismissing him.
Kendrick, you have to applaud him. Like,
absolutely.
Wow, my guy. Like, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just, I would never, the same way I would never go against Chip ever. Like, or he is the first person I'd call. Like, if I needed a good reply to anything, Chip is speed dial. Like, 100%. Kendrick, he's proven his pen, but I don't think anybody who really is a Kendrick fan would have ever doubted his ability. That's why it was scary. It was like, oh my God, how is he gonna, you know what I mean? Sure, he could have replied a bit better, like, for sure, but this is, however he replies, this is Kendrick Lamar, like we said, a multitude of Grammys, a Pulitzer Prize winner,
Hip hop to the core.
just hip hop in every single cell in his body. Like you cannot play a hip hop death match against that. Do you know what I mean? I just hope that I think everybody in life, in any situation in life, at some point, especially when you're just absolutely cruising through as, you know, this untouched, like you're just living life. Everybody in life gets humbled at some point. Everyone will get humbled at some point. And I think the interesting thing for me is how he deals with this humbling and what we get after, because I would really love to see the battery that gets put in that man, because he honestly, and this is coming from somebody who's obviously spent a lot of time around this person who listens to a lot of the music you listen to, by the way, loves a lot of that stuff, but he really is a student as well. And I think that I'm excited just to see the battery that gets, because I don't think anybody's going to take this lightly.
Have you spoken to him about the beef?
No.
Okay.
I have not spoken to him about the beef at all. No.
It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Like, how do you
I had to ask the question.
But like,
I
hope he's doing all right. You know. Who do we think the Mandem are? Oh, you said.
Oh wait, no.
If
it's allegedly Skepta.
It's a great segue, by the way.
That was wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah,
Great segue.
that was elite.
Great segue.
Who's the Mandem?
No, another segue I'm thinking of, but go through.
Who's the Mandem? Skepta.
So for people that
gigs will be one.
So for people that don't know,
Professionalism.
Yes. So Wireless Festival this year, 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drake is going to be headlining all 3 days. It's in Mo's neck of the woods, North London. Shout out to North London. And the Saturday slot is billed as Drake and the Mandem. And there's been a lot of rumours as to who the Mandem are, and a lot of online debate about how that affects the perception of UK artists. Some people will argue that, you know, us who've built our own scene to be delineated to just the Mandem is a bit disrespectful to what we've built and all of that as well. And some people are just like, bro, Drake has single-handedly helped this scene get to where it's at.
I hate that narrative, sorry. I don't mean to
this is what I've seen. There's a lot of extremes and nothing really in the middle.
Crazy.
Crazy one.
Single-handedly
Crazy
one.
one. So now we've been bro.
Like, come on, let's respect ourselves a little bit. Like,
This is it.
No. Listen, as someone again who has witnessed how much of a fan he is of the UK, who has helped facilitate bringing a lot of UK artists on the stages on tour for this guy, who has had a hand in putting records together with the UK artists for this guy. I know a lot of it is very, very genuine, but we need to have some class, okay?
Please.
Like, he has not saved anyone. Like, I think there is a mutual benefit here. Let's remember that. It's like business, right? I think it's lovely. And, you know, back in the day, OVO Sound Radio or whatever, like, when he'd play a Section Boys tune or whatever and everyone would get gassed and the whole world's listening to Section Boys and it did something, like, sure, like, absolutely, that was very exciting. But you can't take away how much the UK has also given him. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an exchange. So, yeah, the Mandem is interesting, for sure. I think, again, going back to what we were saying earlier, he's headlining all 3 days because he's bigger than hip-hop, right? It's like, the Friday is evidently R&B Drake. The Saturday... Wait,
the Saturday's R&B.
Yeah, R&B,
the Friday's
Drake
the
and
UK
Summer
Drake.
Walker.
Wait, which one's the Mandem?
Friday.
Saturday.
Ain't that Friday?
No, Friday is Drake and Summer Walker.
Friday is R&B Drake.
Okay.
Saturday is Rap Drake. And Sunday is Jamaican Drake. Like,
Burna
do you know
Boy
what I
and
mean?
Vibes Cartel.
Yeah. It's like Afrobeats and dancehall. You get all 3 Drakes.
It actually is all 3 faces of Drake.
Are you going to Wireless?
I will not be going to Wireless.
I hear it.
I'm okay.
But yeah.
Again, I did get asked actually a while back if I wanted to play it, and for other reasons that we can get into, it's just I've done it so many times.
Oh, fair enough.
And I think I'm just in such a different place, just in my career. Like I don't want to necessarily continue to do those things.
I hear it.
Yeah, but Shout out all the mandem.
Well, the mandem is rumoured to be Boy Better Know. So, we'll see.
That's interesting. I feel like I'm interested to see the medley of mandem. Do you know what I mean? Like the medley of like UK artists that get brought, or like how it's done. Do you know what I mean? It's like, is it Sench? Is it Dave? Is it Heady? Is it Huss? Is it BBK? You'd hope so. He has a tattoo of BBK. Is it who else? I mean, he
Dave.
loves Nems.
Dave, yeah.
He loves Dave. Like he loves off Nems. I'm interested.
I reckon he's gonna
Yeah.
call for as many names as he can.
I think the lineup will just be what the mandem is. I feel like they'll be actually performing their own sets.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be him like, here's a medley of the UK.
Yeah,
you know?
It will look
Yeah.
insane if he just
That'd
That'd be hilarious,
one
though.
out, one by one by one.
Maybe
It will,
some
we
of
will
the
look
ones
crazy.
that-
I
yeah.
don't care what I'm,
As a Tottenham resident, how would you feel if it's just BBK as the mandem?
we can edit this out.
Is
if you want,
Skepta
but-
in your top 5?
UK? Yeah. Yeah. Skepta's there.
Why do you want to edit this bit out?
Because I was going to say, Shorty's going to come and say the same 14.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I knew that bit wasn't going to get taken out. I knew that bit wasn't going to get taken out. But, no, salute to BBK. I genuinely don't have feelings of it at this point now with them. It's just, it is what it is, isn't it?
Do you think it takes away from them in any way?
I think they're big enough to headline the day by themselves. I don't think you need per se. I don't get it. Like that's the best way. I just don't get it. I don't get them headlining 3 days in a row. I don't understand it. I don't get the logic. It's 20 years.
I think the timing's off.
Do you know what I mean? And I just think the optics look bad.
I think the timing is
yeah,
off.
I just think the optic, the look of it is just.
I think it's interesting how one of the co-founders of Rolling Loud
I saw that.
came out and said a European festival have jacked our idea, and I think the timing's weird of that. Like, why now? I think that's the thing that a lot of people are saying. I guess like PR wise, like if I was in crisis management, I maybe wouldn't have done it this year. I don't think it helps with narratives that are going on. But
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, because
That's-
ostensibly it looks like he's just trying to. I mean,
well, he's in Australia currently, and then
yeah,
he's
I mean,
coming to England.
it seems like it's like part of his redemption tour, and he's trying to, buy favor with, people that obviously love him in the UK. So there's a lot of that. But to your point, like it being mutually beneficial for both parties, I guess something like if you're Drake in the position you're in, it's kind of hard to turn down Wireless when you're doing 3 days, I suppose.
I wonder if it's that, because again, I have not spoken to that man, but like, I wonder if it's a redemption thing or if it is a comfort thing.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
It is.
I wonder if
That's
it's
what
just like I genuinely feel at
Think it's a bit of
home
both.
here.
I think
Like,
he needs
a bit of both.
and he
Yeah,
needs.
I
think he needs the
to
love.
charge
Restore the
up on
feeling.
that.
Yeah, restore the feeling.
Yeah.
I think I said that to you man earlier in the week. I think he just wants to see.
The love.
He just needs to see love
Yeah,
at this point
yeah.
now. I think he's going. You don't know what he's going through.
Especially when it feels like
yeah, like
everyone's
the whole
against him,
world's
right?
against
Yeah.
you. Everyone's singing this. I'm not mad at it. I get why he said yes. I'm just more annoyed that we said yes. It's like, do you get what I mean? Like, I'm not so much. I get his
Yeah.
logic
Very
of it.
excited about Vibes Cartel though. Might
Yeah.
see me on the Sunday for that.
I know he's excited. Then,
You going?
You're not going? I thought you would have been the first one there, bro.
Just.
Well, this is a great segue. What is it about Skepta that makes him one of your favorite rappers?
I think that, well, obviously before we started recording, I kind of got into it, didn't I? Just naturally, we were talking about the multitude of layers and skins of Skepta, but he is, again, a little bit like Drake for me in terms of I have literally grown up from being a child to a 30-year-old with different forms of Skepta in my life. And it was always at the peak of whatever era was going on, if that makes sense, in my life. Like, I don't know, obviously the Channel U days when I was a kid and growing up, and just that whole era of grime and Lord of the Mics and Risky Rose and that whole era of time and being so connected to that. And he was obviously somebody who was coming through. And then, yeah, I mean, do we talk about All Over the House? Probably not. But like, there are so many different versions of him. Like,
I'm on sugar them.
like, even when he started doing like bassline tunes or like weird, what was it? Was he Rolex Sweep?
Yeah.
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 Rescue Me.
Yeah.
Rescue Me.
Listen, them sunglasses.
That era
Oh,
was an
Lord.
What a
interesting era, man.
time.
Yeah.
Woo.
But this is what I mean. People forget.
Yeah.
Like, he just unlocks a new skin, and like he's just at the top again. He's managed to do it in such a smart way. Like, I really respect him, and I mean, you can't deny the fact that even if you look at what we were saying earlier, hence this whole like mandem debate for Wireless, this whole thing about Drake being the person who's uplifted UK artists or whatever is absolute garbage. I think there's always been a really great relationship, and I think Skepta's always been at the forefront of, we won't talk about other people in the past who were in prison, but like there are people since, whether it is Drake and the OVO affiliation of BBK, or if it's ASAP Mob, right?
Yes.
And this is before Praise the Lord. This is like early days, like that affiliation, and having ASAP Rocky and him do that co-sign where the UK, you know, were messing with ASAP and he was putting Skepta on in the US, which then led to this multi-platinum record that they have now. But even Skepta going over to the States, and just that whole push from him, and you know, I feel like Grace Ladoja was working with him at the time, but like his team pushing grime out there, Novelist was out there, all these people, I know Stormzy went out there and whatever, and like they were really pushing like and forcing people into this, you know, this is what grime is, and that came from the influence of Skepta. And of course those relationships beneficial, but it was kind of off his back, that door got let open a bit. I was in New York them times playing like grime in club sets, allegedly, because I don't have a visa, but like you know, and I had like AJ Tracy jumping on my set because he was on tour there with Dave, and there was this weird time where the UK all started going after Skepta had gone, and kind of opened that door up. And he's always been so good at kind of opening the door for the next generation. I mean, yeah, if you look at even the conversation around someone like Central C being the first global star, you do not even get to have that conversation without him. And so I think he always deserves to be in a top 5 for more than just like all over the house.
Yeah, just all round. All round. Yeah, I remember that era. I remember the Noisy documentary about him being in New York and like spitting with like Wiki and Flatbush Zombies.
Yes.
He was everywhere.
Yeah,
man,
he
them
really
times.
was.
This was just before Konnichiwa, and he was just everywhere, man.
Yeah.
What a time.
Even that Konnichiwa rollout, how iconic. And then like being in Japan, and wasn't it like a boiler room or something?
Yeah.
Like it was exciting. He really, there was a weird time, I think it was around Konnichiwa, where I don't know if his team changed or what happened, but the gear just went up into such a crazy creative way where this is when you started seeing Skepta as being more than just a musician. It was the fashion, it was the this, it was the like there was so many other elements to him that people started just being gassed about. And this is obviously before the shoes got dropped and all of these different things that make him, I guess, what could be our version of maybe a Jay-Z in a way.
No, I hear what you're saying.
I don't think the UK will ever let us have a Jay-Z, but like we got a little taste of that era of time when we were all tiny, and you had everybody bringing out fashion lines and shoe collabs, and you know, white people liked them.
No, listen, the Boy Better Know tees, Boy Better Know generally, like he was entrepreneur from day.
Oh my god, but you can't talk about Boy Better Know tees and not Star in the Hood.
Big up Tinch. Yeah,
listen,
man. Yeah, man.
now that was a fashion line.
Yeah. Locked off the streets for sure. Yeah,
Why
man.
don't you think the UK would ever let us have a Jay-Z?
I don't know. I think we're so far behind. We are so far behind. So I guess we'll just have to see. But
Is it a consumption thing, or is it infrastructure? Is it
infrastructure for sure? I remember the first time I went to New York years and years and years ago. I got in a cab and French Montana was playing, and it was daytime, and I was like, "What?" Like that is so. You would never hear that in the UK. You would never. Well, at the time, you'd have never gone in a cab and heard, I don't know, you'd have never heard Skepta. Like, just daytime chart show, like, happy-go-lucky presenter. It was always pop, it was always commercial. We didn't touch black music like that. And it wasn't even like it wasn't like Unforgettable Times. I'm talking like, Wanna Be a Baller, Shot Caller, like daytime radio. And I think that if you look at just the state of the music industry, they were at a peak in the 90s, right, of black music. Like the 90s, the early and then the early 2000s, like America have been doing this. They've been making conglomerates and having all of these different sectors and places for people, and they've had a lot of people employed and put in these buildings that there is still, I think, a little bit of gatekeeping over here, where we don't have those people in the rooms. They don't want those people in the rooms. There isn't room for people in these rooms, and then they just don't know. They don't know how to take care of it. I think we have tried, and I think that's the one thing you have to always respect about how, outside of just making music, if you look at the entrepreneurship of black music in the UK, there is, without a doubt, there would not be any label interest or the money that you're seeing in hip hop now if it wasn't for, obviously you had Risky Roads and Lord of the Mics and whatever, like back in the day, and then you had Channel U and whatever, but the SBTVs, the GRMs, the link ups, the mixtape madnesses, all of these things that if we were just relying on TV or radio, and this is coming from someone on radio, do you think, exactly,
still be 05 or 06.
Yeah, so we just need more of that. I think that's the only way. Unfortunately, I find in this country for things even outside of music, it is so hard to be heard. You kind of have to make people hear you, and I think that's just what has to happen, sadly, here. Whereas in America, I think it's very different.
They're long established in that.
Yeah, and they've got years on us.
That's the thing. They really
years, and I think also that's a positive thing. I think we have to remember that too. They have decades on us. So,
and we're still just getting started.
I really do think maybe like 20. What did you think? Like 2015, 2016 was like the beginning of
when we had the ushering in of the renaissance.
I don't want to say that's the peak.
The peak.
I don't want to say it was a peak of UK music, but it was a period of like 2015 to like 2017.
The second wave of grime onwards.
Yeah. To like 18, 19, where there was all of these men were fresh. The AJ was fresh. Dave was fresh. Stormzy, Fredo. All of these guys were new. And then you still had the Abras of the world dripping bangers, Kojo Funds. That was, I think that was a moment in time, UK music for white, because it was just, you couldn't, and I think that's the first time we started playing people on the radio. I think I remember like Western hearing on the radio, and you wouldn't hear Western in the radio 10 years before that. So I would say that was, to me, I'm not gonna say the peak, but it was a moment.
Interesting take though, because Yami just said it was at the, what was it, the re-renaissance of grime? Yeah,
from like 2013, 14. So German Whip, and then you had That's Not Me. And then I think That's Not Me onwards. Still about like what, pre-pandemic, 2018, 19. The peak of the renaissance of like UK, of black British music in general.
Do you not feel like there might be a re-renaissance happening right now? I feel like we always come back to grime. I've noticed that. Yeah. And I think we're coming back to grime heavy right now.
We are. Okay. We are. Thing with that is, I don't know how far that reaches as far as like, is it going to inspire new generations of fans to then check out grime, first of all, and other forms of black British music in the way that the second wave did? Yeah. And even if you talk to like some people in that grime scene who've been around for ages, a lot of them do feel like people got to capitalize on their moment now to release music and make sure that they're heard. Otherwise, it's just gonna die out again. And even some people will say like the future of grime now is like not necessarily the nostalgia, because obviously we live in the nostalgia. Fusing with other sounds, experimenting with different things, and that's what's going to keep the genre alive. So I don't know. I think the jury's still out as far as this renaissance, personally.
I think the renaissance is different this time around.
Yeah.
I feel like the renaissance is for us. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't think it's actually about... Whereas before, in like 2014 or the That's Not Me, German Whip times, I think that was when, Skep started going over to America. It was about breaking and showing people what the UK rap scene is and whatever. I actually think that this re-renaissance is about bringing us back into the passion of it. I don't know. That's how I feel about it, because America and globally, we're all right. Yeah. They've kind of let us in now. They love Sench. Nems is not too far behind. Like, trust me, wherever I go, anywhere I go, they talk about Nems.
Nems is hard.
They are way more locked in, and it's more normal now. The conversation around UK rap is so much more casual than it has ever been.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for them. I think it's for us, because it sparks something back in us, and I think there has been this disconnect this like drop off in the, especially in the UK when it comes to rap, just with audience. And this is the best thing we have. Like this is the best flexing of what the hell we can do as a culture. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that it's exciting everybody again, and it's quite nice for me to see everybody come back to it as well. It's almost like going home. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And being like, oh yeah. Like, yeah. Just bringing it back, and I think
going back to the roots
a little bit. Not for anything. I mean, obviously AJ Tracey just dropped that Crush record, which is obviously very nostalgic when you listen to it, and putting the Georgia Smith hook on it and whatever. But AJ was an MC, so it's quite nice to see him going back to that. I'm actually really happy he's gone back to that. I'll be honest. Please do more of that.
Yeah,
AJ.
facts. Yeah.
But you know, I did a set for Unknown T, where I actually got set up, and I ended up being South Spyro, and becoming a grime DJ.
Nice.
And I wasn't actually told that was happening. And then AJ Tracey literally appeared. Unknown T asked me to DJ for him for 10 minutes, right? It was down the road from my house. I've taken a USB. I've put 10 minutes of songs on there, because I actually took instrumentals out, because I was like, I'm not going to throw him off, because he's like on a whim being like, oh, I'm going to freestyle, yeah. And so I put like just some like simple like tunes on there so I could jump about and not freak him out. Big mistake, because as soon as I've walked to the stage, I'm seeing like just the man dem, right? I'm seeing the man dem on the stage, and I'm like, okay, wow, the turnout's been great, the support is fantastic for this event. Oh, good for Unknown T. I've gone on, and then AJ Tracey has basically tapped me after Unknown T's done, and I'm like 6 songs out of 10 now, so I've got like 4 left on this USB. And then AJ Tracey kind of grabbed a mic and tapped me up and like, oh, you jumping on? And he was like, yeah. I was like, right, because I was like, okay, I know what you can do. This is not what I've prepared for. But that was fine. But then it was, I don't even, honestly, it's like I've blacked out and I did black out in the moment pretty much. But long story short, the Avengers assembled. JME came out, DWE came out, Chip came out, Frisco came out. I'm literally forgetting people. But it was just like, what? But the crowd was so young, like it's all Unknown T fans, and they were they were so gassed, and that was really sick to see. And it was to see what I could see, because I was panicking constantly. But just that energy, and then just watching the past few months of just the return of that energy through music, and even the OGs coming back. And, you know, I think it's for us anyway. I think that's what.
Yeah, seeing Scorcher make a comeback is...
Oh my God, Scorcher. You know he broke his Movo.
Did he?
Already?
He smashed his Movo.
He's got it.
He smashed it. I knew that was going to happen. He looked burst.
Oh, for real?
He was...
Yeah, he
that
looked
speech?
Like
boy.
Yeah. He deserved it,
No,
though.
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Seeing him win is just... It's one of the dopest feelings.
Yeah, man.
I loved his message, though.
Yeah, same.
When it got out, just about dedicating it to everybody else and saying this could be them next year. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, man.
To make about everybody else when it's like, nah, this is
your moment, especially him.
For Scorcher. That was nice.
Considering his journey as well.
Exactly that.
Yeah, very selfless.
Yeah, I used to have such a crush on him as a child. Anyway.
We got Scorcher.
Just thought I'd say, would he be in my top 5? No, I'm joking.
No, it's a Scorcher.
But yeah, lip syncing. That was the time.
I hear it.
Boy.
I know this is getting cut out. It's fine.
What was his buzz? Was it Scorcher? Not no talker. Fling out the link like Lou Shine Walker.
Do you remember Griminal?
Yeah,
He was Griminal's girlfriend. I had a crush on Griminal as well. These were my little Romeos and Bow Wows.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Griminal was great though, man.
What? Yeah.
Griminal was great.
Yeah,
great
that
MC.
was a wonder kid, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Absolute wonder kid.
Yeah. If you could have a comeback from any of like the ones that aren't still about now, like if someone could just pop up on a song, or like at like I don't know, Bashy is performing at the Mobos, and then all of a sudden it cuts to like a grime beat, and this person comes out.
I would have said Scorcher.
I would have normally said Scorcher, so I might just say Ice Kid. I might just say Ice Kid because I would normally would have said Scorcher. So I might just say Ice Kid because it was him and Chip at one point. And then
No,
just-
for real.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Criminal's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Criminal for me.
Criminal, yeah.
I've been
Criminal for
working
sure.
on a project and I had this one beat and I've just held it for time because I was like, this would just be so sick if like Criminal was on this.
Ears.
Yeah.
Ears would be good.
Rough Squad with Tinch.
Yeah. No, they made a comeback. Well, but not with Tinch,
Yeah,
but
with
yeah.
Tinch, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well, thanks.
Yeah. So growing up in Telford,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not London, far
Yeah,
from
no.
it.
No, yeah.
What were kind of like your entry points into rap music and music in general?
I think my entry point was my mum, to be honest. Like, growing up in Telford, it is a small town. You're not too far from, like, Wolverhampton, Birmingham. Like, there is life, but but you are definitely on the outskirts. I think there's many a thing, like, and so many routes I can go down, just to, even on identity growing up somewhere like that. But my mum was super young, played me music all the time. I was never gonna hear it otherwise. And she was always like, she was my first entry point into loving music. Our Friday nights, if she didn't, like, if my nan couldn't have me, we'd be listening to the radio and it would always be the rap show, and I'd be crumping. We had this IKEA mirror that was like all swirly. I don't know if you remember the like squiggly IKEA mirror. And I'd be like crumping in the mirror to whoever was on the radio at the time, and like I'd have Ribena in a glass and she'd have wine and we'd be dancing around the table. So like it just, I guess the positive vibes came from those memories with my mum. Or if I think about like car rides, like there'd always be like a tape in the car that was like a garage, I don't know, some MC on it, I don't know, you know what I mean, some Twice as Nice thing that was just like ripped, and that was the tape that was in the car. So yeah, she was definitely that. She was it for me. And then growing up, the internet, to be honest, or TV. I remember I'd come back from primary school and I begged my mum to get Sky, but we didn't have any of the the channels you had to pay for.
Yeah.
But we had Sky, and that's when I kind of got into Channel U, and I used to like beg my mum to like top up my phone so I could like shout at my friends on Channel U on the like little text line or whatever. I'd be playing like my dance mat with my friends, but I'd have like Channel U on. And I remember just like innocently getting into things. Like the reason I liked Crazy Titch was because he had a song where he said, "Say my name, Crazy T. My name is Tiffany." Like I was literally a child. Like I was like, "Oh, that's sick." Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't because I was like, "Oh, he's hot," like anything like that. It was just fun. Mr. Wong, like I just got really, after school I got really into
on Monday, innit?
Orchestral boroughs.
Yeah, like honestly, even like Splurge Boys, like
Wow.
Imperial Squad, like all of these things. You've got the radio, and radio was king. Like especially being in Telford, it's like that is everything. Like Chris Moyles on the Breakfast Show, or whatever. Like that was everything growing up. And the commercial hits, the top 40, the now that's what I calls of the world, you know, like I had all of that in abundance. And then I had my things, which was like Channel U, time with my mum listening to the rap show. And that was kind of it for a long time. CDs, I used to, because I kind of was back and forth between Telford and the Caribbean. So when I'd be in the Caribbean, I'd go to the market in St. Lucia or St. Vincent. And you could buy these CDs, and they were like these blank disc CDs with no track list, nothing. And I'd put it in my Walkman, and that would teach me about everything that was going on in America. So it would be like Dem Franchise Boys, or it would be Mary J. Blige, Be Without You was the record on that CD. But all of these tunes I'd have never heard before. I'd just be discovering things through this one Rasta who used to burn playlists onto a CD, and I'd go buy them every week. And so yeah, that's how I got into it. And then I got into the internet, and the internet changed everything for me. For sure. But it was all, I think, a choice. I think it's not like a part of life. It's like, if you all grew up in London, yeah, lucky you. Like you guys had to literally just walk out your house and be like, culture, you know. I did not. This has always been something I guess that's why I'm a bit sneaky about it, because I chose to be into it.
And it was a refuge.
So you grew up in the LimeWire era.
Big time.
Yeah,
Can I say that? Yes.
Can you say
I
that?
don't know if I can say that shit.
Do you
We
remember
can
when
say
you
it.
download a song and then you'd get I did not have sexual relations with
Without
that
one.
woman.
Yeah.
If you download da.
You know that's how I got Soulja Boy's first
I was
ever
just about to say
song.
Soulja Boy as
I
well.
downloaded
man.
a song and then Soulja Boy would just
You
pop up.
hacked a lot of them, boy.
Yeah, I would never
Crazy,
forget.
man.
I forgot what song it was, but I remember
I
I
was
tried to.
downloading the
I
hardest
tried to-
Papoose song.
Bro, I think I was trying to
Yeah.
download
Come out
someone,
my
bro.
speakers.
Cassidy back then or whoever
Oh my
it
All
was.
of
god,
that.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
What a
And then you just see
time.
Soulja Boy's stupid face. I was fuming. I was heated.
Yeah,
I
no,
would
the,
never
li-
forget.
the lime
Crazy.
wire days were great. I definitely broke a few computers, but
Yeah.
it was worth it.
It was,
really
innit?
was. Yeah. That was a good time. That kind of ruined music, though, didn't it?
Oh,
In what
absolutely.
sense?
We have DSPs now.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Napster completely gutted the music industry.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's
From a
broke
monetary
now.
perspective.
I
as
never
well,
actually really
probably
thought about it,
did.
right?
And
That's why I
physicals,
didn't-
money,
So I hope
everything.
Soldier Boy was worth it.
No, I just
Yeah.
but you know what? I never really thought about it. You're actually right because it made streaming a thing.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even make that
Yeah,
connection actually.
it really did, and he closed HMV.
But LimeWire aside, datpiff.com.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah,
Wow.
Yep.
The greatest website of all
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
The
yeah.
greatest
Easily,
website of all time.
easily.
It's the
Yeah,
greatest.
I mean, I actually found the guy who used to do the real trap shit. Like, I found him, and you can actually like pay for him to do scripts.
Oh, so
And I kind of wanted him to do like some radio shout-outs for me.
Did he say he would do it?
Yeah, though he sends you how much money he wants.
is
and
it?
Oh, for
everything.
real?
Yeah. Maybe I'll send him your.
like just say
your
rhymes like
email.
dimes.
Yeah, send him a DM.
Rhymes, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, that piff.
Yeah, that was a great era. The
I
blog
mean,
era,
the-
generally.
That's the
The
Like,
Lil,
no-
the Lil Wayne era of
Oh,
that piff.
man.
Oh, the
Just
dedication
mixtape
the
Wheezy.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
The dedication mixtape.
No
Yeah.
ceilings, yeah, all of it.
The
even
drought.
when he did the rock stuff, that period of time.
I know I wasn't here for that.
Oh, the
wasn't
re-
there.
re- oh, rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I wasn't there
was.
for
Lost me
Yeah,
there to
Joe
but
Budden.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember I
boy,
used to,
yeah,
Mood
boy.
Music was I used to download Joe Budden regular on there.
Yeah.
Joe Budden was a heavy mixtape.
Oh
for me.
wow.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but Joe Budden was. Am I by myself on that
No,
island?
I'm with you.
God bless you.
Yeah,
I hope you're really understanding Mo as a person right now.
No, I am. Do you
Okay.
listen to the Joe Budden podcast? Be honest.
Define listen.
Do you
Why do you always do that?
listen to the Joe Budden podcast?
segments.
Okay.
I don't listen
you
to it.
don't-
I
you
would
don't
never-
So you
put it
listen.
on.
I will never listen to a whole episode.
Okay.
Okay.
They're all like 5 hours each.
Yeah, but I'll listen to that. I'll if there's a segment that just pops up and let's just say, I don't know. Let's just
I
say,
listen to the.
Let's just say he talks about
Yeah,
episode. I'll
it's
tune in.
okay.
Yeah,
No, I'll
I'm
tune
with
in.
I used to.
No,
My
but do you
boyfriend
listen
listens to
to
the
a whole
Joe Budden
episode though?
podcast.
When was the last time you listened to a whole episode?
Today.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I will.
God bless your soul.
Just let it play.
Mad.
God bless you.
But would you say you're connected to J. Cole?
No, I love this. Nah, but I remember. I think like last week. I think I was wearing a ski mask and I had High School Musical in my ears.
High School Musical.
Yeah, I swear to God, wallahi, true story. I was at the
Wow.
station. Don't ask me why.
We'll get your head in the game.
Yeah, it was part of my Not Everyday Rap playlist.
Sure.
Who else is on your not everyday
I
rap
just-
playlist?
It's there. I had to take some people out just for. You know what I mean?
Just to make room for others? Or?
Nah, it's got like 400 songs, like 300 songs, but it's just everything
That's a
from
lot of stuff.
J Lo to Shani to Leah to High School Musical.
Hanson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hanson,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
literally
That's
to-
amazing. Wait, is Hanson Mbop?
Yeah,
Mbop.
yeah, that's sitting there.
Yeah.
Hard.
What did I add yesterday? I think I added. What song did I add yesterday? It's gonna annoy me. It's a proper, you know, Nickelback,
Which
Rockstar.
one?
I'm a real
Rockstar.
rock star. Yeah.
Hey, hey.
I did that song.
Yeah.
I added that song to the
Listen,
playlist
I'm from
yesterday.
Telford, so I know
Yeah,
all about
I did
Nickelback.
that.
You know what song I'm talking about, Pete? Don't look at me.
I
Like
don't
that.
know what song you're talking about.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
knows.
that's because you like
He knows,
everyday,
yeah.
everyday.
Everyday
man.
what?
Sun Ra, innit? Sun Ra, Sun Ra, Sun Ra.
Where you coming
Sun
from,
Ra,
me?
Sun
Why
Ra.
is it
Yeah, man,
Sun
Empress
Ra.
and
Sun Ra, Sun Ra.
this guy here, bro. with the-
But I listen to all of it though.
No, you don't. But
I
you
do, man.
Do you like Neo Soul?
I do.
Oh
Does
my
he
days.
Neo
Does he
Soul?
like
Does
Neo
he
Soul?
like Neo Soul?
Krang Bin.
That's my bag. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
my bag.
Does he like Neo
Yusuf
Soul?
Who?
Days.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Tom Mish?
Absolutely.
Love
Didn't
Tom
you say
Mish.
Yusuf Days recently?
When I see him, I think a couple
Was it
years
Crystal
ago.
Palace?
No, Somerset
okay.
House actually.
Ooh.
We saw him play some venue in Soho as well.
Oh, yeah,
When
that was
the-
album launch.
When his album launched.
Listen.
I didn't get an invite.
No, his album's amazing.
Are you into that?
I wouldn't have one.
That's not for you.
But that's not just my bag. Don't let
That
them
is
paint
just
this
That's
picture of
also
me.
not just my bag.
Yeah, man, I like
But
it
I'm
all,
into
man.
that.
Lock yourself up, bro. It's
I'm just saying, I like it all, man. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, life has seasons for
That's
a reason.
Yeah,
That's
for real.
it, man.
That's a great way to word it.
Mhm.
That is a great.
Not
way to
every
word
day. What?
And
Should
everyday
play
rap.
it. Not everyday rap.
Not everyday rap.
That's a fact, though. It's not everyday rap.
Sometimes Tom Mish Maybe
Absolutely.
not High School Musical,
Yeah.
but if that's your
High
bag,
School Musical is
that's your
random.
bag.
I'll be real. High School Musical is random. I was just like, you know what? Let me not change it. So I ain't listened to this in about 10 years. Let me not switch it up. Why not? Do you know what Breaking Free does to people?
Listen,
sometimes?
big tune,
Oh,
man.
man.
That is actually a really big tune. If I could tell you a few people I've sang that song with that are gangsters, you'd be shocked.
See?
A lot of people rate High School Musical.
I wouldn't even be shocked, to be
Oh,
honest.
man. I still remember the next day at school. I will never forget the next day at school. The true story, sorry. The next day at school after High School Musical dropped, we went to the Astro, and I'll never forget. I was in like year 9 or year 10, and everybody was just there, innit? We're all just standing there. So is anyone going to speak about High School Musical? I will never forget. All of them random. And it took one person to be like, yeah, and then we just all started speaking about it.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I'll
missed
never
that,
forget
bro.
that.
I never got into it, man.
What'd you say?
No, it had the streets unlocked.
Ah, what? High School
It
Musical.
went
I didn't-
triple platinum
Not
on the
number 2 or
road,
3.
bro.
Forget
What
number
year
2
are
or
we
3.
talking though? When
High School
was it?
Musical 1.
06.
High School Musical
06.
1 had the streets. I don't know about number 2 and number 3.
Did you
but I
ever
didn't
do
check
Camp Rock?
that. Nah.
Yeah, it wasn't for me either. School of Rock, though.
Yeah, facts.
School of Rock, I didn't do either, you know.
School of Rocks.
Really?
Classic,
Nah.
cult classic.
Defining. You know, 2 of them got married recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
What? Oh,
Crazy.
What, from
innit?
where? School
that
of
is
Rock?
the
thought,
best
hello.
love story of all time.
20 years later.
Yeah.
Ooh, felt very old
What,
after
from
that.
Camp
man.
Rock?
School
No,
of Rock.
School of Rock.
Oh, fair.
The real school.
Oh, is that
of
the-
Rock.
Did you watch Drake and Josh?
Nah.
Boy,
Did you watch Hannah Montana? Did you watch
Nah.
That's So Raven?
who didn't watch
Nah.
this?
I knew about it,
didn't
but I didn't
watch
really. I genuinely didn't watch That's Already
That's
like that.
great.
I used to watch Trouble. Like, I was heavy on Trouble back in
Did
the
you
day.
do My Wife and Kids?
Yeah, Fresh Prince,
Yeah,
101.
yeah, yeah.
Half.
Open the
BBC
door,
Two.
close the door.
Yeah.
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 But I used to watch all of them, half and half, 101,
Simpsons, yeah,
all of
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
I was heavy on them.
Half and half, you know.
I used to love half and half.
All About Us? Was it All, About Us?
See, so we didn't grow up that different, even though I'm from Telford.
Yeah, we didn't.
Right?
I think-
we all had
Yeah.
BBC Two
Yeah,
on, and we
yeah.
all did the medley of My Wife and Kids, Fresh Prince,
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
facts,
raised
Yeah,
us all.
facts, facts.
It's universal.
And then EastEnders. That's it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And EastEnders.
Yeah.
I did all the soaps, man.
Although I did
Emmerdale,
Hollyoaks.
I only done one.
Corrie,
I only done
Hollyoaks was
EastEnders.
big for me.
My
Family
sister,
Affairs.
my sister was heavy.
Family
Hollyoaks.
Affairs.
Family Affairs.
What?
I don't even know what
You
family.
did Family Affairs?
Family Affairs.
What
you
is
know?
Family Affairs?
It was on Channel 5. That's what I
Exactly.
remember.
I've never heard.
When you
of
could have been
Family-
watching Hollyoaks, mad thing.
I watched Hollyoaks too.
You do Home and Away.
Wasn't it on the
Did
same
you ever
time?
do the omnibuses? Do you
I
remember
done
the
the-
Oh,
omnibuses?
that's when
Only-
they catch up
Yeah,
with the
I
whole
used
week.
to- I used to do Hollyoaks Omnibus. Heavy. Heavy.
Hollyoaks was my
Yeah.
sister used to watch Hollyoaks, but EastEnders was the one for me. I didn't watch Coronation Street, Emmerdale,
did
none of
all
them,
of them, man.
I used to-
EastEnders, a bit of Coronation Street.
I never
Hollyoaks,
sat.
heavy.
I don't think I've done it.
Emmerdale, anyone?
Emmerdale, yeah. The Dingles and that, yeah.
You watch
Before.
Emmerdale?
Yeah.
Before. I didn't watch Emmerdale.
Yeah.
None of them other ones, you know that. Not
Kane Dingle was like their answer to Phil Mitchell.
Yeah.
Kate who?
Emmerdale got
Kane Dingle.
real.
Yeah, man. It's
Cool.
real.
They
I
got
can't
real.
talk to you about this, man. I wouldn't know, man. I'll be so real.
Anywho.
Sorry. Back to the. Yeah.
Anywho. So when did your passion for music in general then like spark an idea in you to kind of want to follow that into a path into the music industry?
I think that the quickest way to answer that question is when I was about 16, I just naturally had an existential crisis, as you do at 16, right? You've got to pick what you're doing with your life, how to not embarrass your parents and be like nothing in the world or whatever when you want to do them proud and you want to pursue a career in music and whatever. So I just had this weird kind of limbo phase of figuring out who I wanted to be. I was heavily influenced actually by like Gossip Girl and shows like that at the time. And I was like, maybe I want to be a fashion journalist. You know, I was like, that looks sick. And my mum actually, bless her, she got me into, there was this Teen Vogue fashion university thing in New York. And she put all her money together. We've gone to New York as like a surprise for my 16th birthday because she thought I wanted to go to London College of Fashion. I wanted to do all of this. This is like when Rihanna used to be on Channel 4 doing like the fashion show with Henry Holland and like all. So I was like, oh, this is lit. We've gone to New York. We're staying in New Jersey and taking the bus into New York every day. By the way, our shuttle driver had a claw for a hand, and I was terrified because it wasn't actually connecting to the steering wheel. It was a lot, but I got there. I made it. And I sat in a couple seminars, and Anna Wintour was there.
Wow.
Vera Wang was there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was iconic. It was actually iconic. And I sat in a couple seminars just like ready to be like, wow, and I wasn't wowed, which is what every mum wants to hear after she's put every single penny she has into taking her kid to pursue her dreams. But I sat on the plane, and I basically Anna Wintour said something where she was basically talking about she didn't go to university. She knew what she wanted to do. She'd have done it for free for the rest of her life. Like she knew she wanted to do this kind of thing. And I was like, oh, well, I don't feel this way about this at all. And for me, I think if I had to have picked something where it's like, if I'm going to give my absolute all to something, it has to be something I could do with my eyes closed. It has to be something like I could do for free for the rest of my life, and I'd be okay with it. Like I have to be okay with whatever I do, because I always wanted to be, whatever I do, I want to be good at it. I want to be the best at it, whatever. So I turned to my mum and I was like, yeah, I don't think it's fashion. I think it's music. And she was like, right. Thanks. So when we came home, I started again, for me, leaving Telford meant getting a student loan. So I decided to start a side blog, just to help with like journalism applications to go to uni. And I had this music blog where I'd be just writing about and reviewing music and just starting to get a feel for it, and kind of turned more into a blog people actually paid attention to. At the same time, I started sending it to like some of my favourite journalists or whatever. One of them was a guy called Amaru Wilcox, who does Amaru
Don.
Yeah. So ADTV back then. And I started writing for his blog. And that was my first introduction to like going to festivals with a VIP wristband, and I was like, "Whoa, oh my god, I could do this forever." And I think I interviewed like Miss Dynamite when I was with him, and then I interviewed. Who else did I interview with him? Yeah, Miss Dynamite, Obi Trice.
Real name, no gimmicks.
Yeah, and I genuinely had the shakes. Like I was like, "Mum, I'm about to interview Obi Trice," and she was like, "It's fine, don't worry, he's just a human." And I was like, "No, I'm so nervous." He was drunk as shit on that phone call, but I was like 17, just like, "Hello," and he's there like wasted, like, "I'm drinking vodka," and I was like, "Oh my god." And I'm like learning to transcribe and all of this stuff, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then kind of started applying to other blogs, like I wanted to get as much experience as I could, so that I had enough to go to uni, basically. And then I started writing for MTV, the wrap up. So I basically would sacrifice every weekend, because I'd be for free just like writing and updating their websites. And as that was going on, I was kind of getting into SoundCloud, and this was like the SoundCloud era was starting, and I kind of started building, I guess, connections and relationships with a lot of the musicians coming from SoundCloud, because I was blogging about them. So it was like the beginning days of Soul Action, and artists like Kate Trinada and Sango, and even like Goldlink back in the day, and Amine, and like all of these SoundCloud, I guess, generation musicians. Taku was a big one as well. And he's actually how I got a writing gig for Hypebeast. But yeah, I started kind of building those relationships at the same time, which is crazy to think now, like looking at where someone like Kate Trinada is, for example. I remember his like first couple SoundCloud posts. So yeah, I kind of was around in the renaissance of the blog era for a bit. Then it was time to figure out if I was going to uni or not, and decided not to, because I kind of got offered, I was interning. I knew one person when I moved to London, so I'm fast forwarding, and this was supposed to be a short story. Cut this however you want, by the way. I moved to London, that's a big part. So I moved to London, and I was in college, and I knew one person when I moved to London, who is a musician called Jacob Banks. He's from Birmingham, and I used to just annoy him. Like, he was like my big brother, because I knew no one here. Like, I literally had no friends. And he'd be working in like the studio, and I'd just go and sit in there like, I'm really bored. Like, can we go to the cinema? I don't have any friends. And he was like, okay, you need a hobby. Like, go and be an intern somewhere. And I was like, I really want to be a presenter. And he was like, I think you'd be great at PR. And I was like, oh. And, okay. So then I started PR. And just interning for a couple people. So I kind of put my hand in a bunch of different pies within music, and I was just figuring it out, as you do when you're young. And then I turned 18, and I started going to clubs in Dalston.
What an era.
What an era. And I went to this club night called License to Trill.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flashback.
Which was the first time I'd ever heard like Denzel Curry in a club, because he had a tune called Threats at the time. And just that whole era, Danny Brown, like all of these kind of tunes that I just knew from my online life, you know what I mean, like not in real life. And I kind of found my people there. And this is back in the day when Cisse, who now does Places Plus Faces, he like had an eyebrow piercing and he'd be taking the photos for the club night and whatever. And we were just all neeks basically and really into music, and I made my community there. And a lot of the DJs I became mates with would start kind of turning to me and be like, oh, what do you think I should play next, kind of thing. And I'd be like, oh, try this. And then they'd play it and the crowd would get jumpy, and I think it just gassed me a little bit, and I was like, oh, maybe I could give this a go. Yeah, DJing was never like my plan A. It was never my dream. I always wanted to be on the radio. I always wanted to be a presenter. I always wanted to, you know, make documentaries and do all... I always wanted to be a curious, you know, person. I always wanted to ask questions and be around things and experience new things. But DJing was never at the top of my list. I was never... And it's so funny because if I look back at my life, I used to curate my school disco playlists on GarageBand. Like, I was a DJ, you know what I mean? But I'd never put two and two together like that. And it wasn't until my friends who were starting out as DJs were like, oh, what should I play? I was like, I'm kind of getting this right. And I was like, oh, maybe I should give this a go. But I couldn't afford a controller or anything, so I started using PC software. And then I kind of finessed my way into having a show on Radar Radio. And then I was trying to plug an aux cord into a computer software to do a radio show, and the guy wasn't happy about that. So he was like, you need to learn. So he'd just like let me use the studio whenever to practice. And I just completely fell in love with it. And all my other internships kind of fell away. And I was like, oh, I really like this. And just being able to do it. And I fell completely in love with having a radio show, because I tried to do the blueprint things they tell you to do online if you read, and it's like, do an apprenticeship here, and you want to get into radio, like do this course even with the BBC, you know, it's like do this course, or Rinse FM. I applied there for pilots and all of these things, all the names, you know. Absolutely nothing. Like it was like, yeah, safe. Do you know what I mean? It was a no from everyone when I was young, and I just applied to an online radio station that nobody had heard of at the time. And I had no experience, and I just kind of stuck at it and really fell in love with it. And it just grew and grew and grew and grew. And then I actually left Radar and I went to NTS. Now, NTS to me was always the cool one. It was like the coolest people ever on NTS. And then I felt like I was maybe quite cool because I was on NTS. And I was gassed because there was a DJ who I used to basically stalk. Any club night he DJ'd, I'd go. His name is Martello. And you know, even back in the day, I don't know if you ever went to Tax Free at the Edition Hotel. Like there used to be these really cool hip hop nights, Living Proof. Like there were a bunch of like sick hip hop nights in London. And like Martello would always be playing, or it'd be Snips or Budgie, who's an incredible producer. And that's just where I'd be. I'll never forget the day that I got to play Living Proof and I won their approval. As someone who used to be in the crowd and knows, like, you know, like old school hip hop guys, like, you know how they feel about new school DJs, or like using CDJs or USBs or whatever. The day I got Snips' approval, oh, I'll remember that till I die. Like, that was a big moment for me, for sure. But yeah, I just started playing on NTS. Then from NTS, I got asked to do Kiss FM. It all happened quite quickly. It was weird. Nothing happened. And then everything happened really quickly. Like, absolutely nothing happened. And then everything else, it was like a domino effect. I was on NTS, I went to Kiss FM. I was at Kiss FM for about 5 minutes. Mark Stripple, who was the head of One Extra at the time, dropped me a DM on Twitter and was like... Charlie Sloth was leaving, and he didn't say that in the DM, but he wanted to connect, and I was like, this is weird timing. because I was on Kiss FM doing a hip hop show, and yeah, we met, we got a coffee. He kind of explained the situation. He invited me to come in to do a pilot. I absolutely botched it. I was so nervous. And the BBC is like a spaceship. It's like it's so many buttons. It still intimidates me today. But I've gone in and it was all so top secret because obviously Charlie Sloth's leaving, who's replacing him, whatever. So they're like covering me in like scarves and stuff, like going up into the room to practice. So the nerves are really there. Yeah. And I've never done national radio properly at that point. I was an online radio baby at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't well versed in radio, and I botched it. Like it was just so bad. But he fortunately saw a lot of potential and gave me the job, and I was like, really? Cool. Cried, obviously, and then did a cartwheel and became the host of the rap show on Radio 1 in 2019. But everything before that was just years and years and years of nothing. And then that show was always the show that's the show I grew up listening to with my mum, like every Friday, drinking Ribena, pretending it was wine, crumping in the mirror. So it was a massive moment for me because I'd always wanted to be in that world. I just didn't think I could be in that world because of where I lived, because I wasn't a white dude. Like I just didn't think that was for me. I just wanted to get as close to it as I possibly could. And then they offered me the job and I was like, oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Were there any DJs that influenced your style of DJing?
I think for me it's almost like I had to it's like Build-A-Bear of a role model in a way, because I have so much love for someone like Angie Martinez because I didn't really feel like I had that representation in the UK, or like in Telford I didn't see that representation on my TV of a female in that world really at all. So I kind of made a hybrid. And it's still to this day, as I think I obviously had my goats, which we cannot speak on now. But they obviously were holding it down, baby, and I really enjoyed those shows. And then I kind of made a, I guess, like hybrid. So it was like a bit of them, and then it was a bit of Annie Mac, because I also used to love her show. Like I tune into Radio 1 all the time on my headphones, and the way she would play weird, like Zane Lowe as well. I used to listen to Zane Lowe is how I even know who System of a Down are, or like all of these the Killers, or like any kind of rock band, or even there's like this electronic group called Stanton Warriors. Like I remember him introducing me to a song on the radio called Apache. Like it's such a random song, but I remember it because of how he spoke about it, and I really trust it. I loved that relationship I had with broadcasters, and I kind of took a piece from all of them, and I was just like, I love all of them. I want to be like all of them. I love Gemma Kearney, like when I used to watch her on Glastonbury on the TV, and just like seeing her, or I loved watching Makita Oliver on Channel 4 back in the day, and I'd kind of take a piece of all of it and be like, I kind of want to be like all of them, but me. So yeah, I kind of had to build my own person. There wasn't one.
Okay.
But from trying so many different things on the come up, like, what do you think you learned from that experience of trying so many things, and I guess being a jack of all trades, as it were?
I think over time I have learned that I got told by a few people in my life that jack of all trades, master of none is a thing. I don't believe in that at all. I think to be a master of anything, you have to try so many things. Like you have to understand so many different areas and walks of life, or your career, or whatever. I'm really grateful that I tried everything I could, so that I could understand and kind of scope who it is I want to be, And I think it was also interesting coming from Telford, and finding out about all of these other roles, because I think for anyone, not even just from where I come from, but when you're young, the things that look all cool and shiny on the TV, you don't know about any of these other jobs that exist, or all these other avenues into music. You either have to be like a superstar presenter, or nothing. You know, they don't tell you about being a plugger or working in marketing on a campaign or for a creative agency or any of these jobs, or being an A&R. Like, you don't know about these things. So there was so much for me to try and find out and kind of find my lane. And I think just naturally for me, it was always broadcasting from when I was a kid. The DJing thing obviously came after, but I just knew that's what I wanted. What I will say now is I've obviously been able to over time bring other parts of my life back into it. But I had to really just focus and kind of tunnel vision on that for a bit.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And on the come up, I mean, you know, you're doing the DJing thing, you're putting out mixes, you know, No Requests, Volume 1, you said Netflix and Chill.
Yeah.
When I was editor at Dummy Mag,
Yeah.
you did a mix for us as well. At the time, like, getting that kind of recognition from publications and kind of like building up your brand, what did those like kind of wins mean to you in the grand scheme?
I think you're just gassed, like, to be honest. I don't know how to say it in like a cool way. Like, it was just gas when people actually recognize or appreciate something you're doing. I think I've always had a lot of imposter syndrome over it. I think only now at 30 years old am I stopping to actually smell the roses a little bit of my career. But you're kind of just going, like, you're constantly in a hustle. So it's like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? So it's amazing, but you're just focused on the next chunk of your life, really. But when I look back now, I think it is such a different time in 2025 to what it was back then. Like, and me just coming through, and even that sound and being a girl and like just all of those things to where we are now in 2025, it's so normal that maybe that's why I'm more comfortable. I don't know, but it was a scary time back then, for sure.
It's funny you say that, because like even back then, I remember like hearing your name a lot and listening to your mixes and thinking, yeah, like this is the one sort of thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a big deal for you to do a mix for, you know, Dummy at the time. You know what I mean? So it's interesting that you say what you're saying now, because on the other side, it's like, I'm actually so gassed that you're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, for real. Like, I heard your name a lot back then, and the proof was in the pudding as far as like your style and everything like that. And I think it's still translatable to even then. I mean, especially when it comes to like the music and everything that was coming out at the time. Like, it was an era. You encapsulated that era.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
I was just a neek.
Hey, listen, you needed to be, man.
No, you did. I think you really did, and it's funny because the mix that changed my life, I clearly did not take very seriously, and I think I sometimes kind of hide behind myself with humor because of just being shy about everything. But I made a mix and I called it "We'll Sin for Chipotle." That was literally what it was called. And that mix literally changed my life. Not even joking. Like, I got 50,000 plus streams on Soundcloud, which at the time was like massive to me, and that's how I kind of got my show on an online radio station, because I was like, I've got so many listeners. You said Netflix and Chill, again, a joke, like literally a joke. Dave Free found me through that mix. No joke. Oh, wow. Dave Free, because I remember seeing like a SoundCloud account. And it said Dave Free, and I was like, Dave Free? And I was like, nah, that can't be. That's someone making like that's just their name on SoundCloud or whatever. Then he's messaged me, and I was like, nah. And then he's messaged me again, like from an official TDE thing, and I was like, oh, shit. All from an R&B mix I did. Like, the internet back then was just like, the opportunities are endless. Like, we literally connected through an R&B, like, 15-minute mix that I did on SoundCloud. That was a joke. Yeah. I also helped a lot of people get pregnant, apparently, which I love. Yeah. Shout out. I hope I'm all of their middle names.
Boys or girls, right?
Yeah.
I hear it.
How do you think your ear as a DJ has grown since when you first started?
Do you know what? It's funny you say that, because I think it's actually more of a challenge. Especially in 2025, I think it's more of a challenge to keep your ear to everything. It's so hard, especially when it's just you. Yeah. I think the way people consume music now is so fast, and it's so fast paced, and there's so much to listen to that I've kind of changed my, I guess, just my how I decide on music, whereas before I could take my time a bit more, and I could, you know, I don't have that time. So for me it's like, what genuinely, because that reaction has never changed. It's like, what genuinely, as soon as I hear it, it's almost like a punch in the face. It's like, is this punching me in the face? It's not. Okay, let's move. Like because there's just so much to go through, and also I'm getting older. So I actually think it's harder to stay attuned with what is working and what isn't, and I'm learning as well what's working and what isn't. I'm actually really lucky I've got a 15-year-old brother sometimes, because I'm like, do you like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sense check.
Yeah.
That would definitely.
And I was going to ask, do you think it interferes with your enjoyment as well?
What, having to listen to so much music?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, I'm joking. But I think that's why it's nice to have, you know, we were making we were having the High School Musical chat, or the Use of Days, or the Tom Mitchell, whatever. I think that is what is nice about the world now, in where you can break away for a second and just take a breather and listen to something else, and then come back to this. It doesn't have to be ever consuming. And I think maybe for me, having 4 or 5 years of it being ever consuming just one sound, it just wasn't a challenge to me anymore, because there are all of these other parts of me that I want to champion and I love and I want to shout about. And I was only going down one lane, and it was just a bit of a waste of my year, I think.
Yeah, we went to a party that you did at 180 House. Was it last year or the year before? And you were playing like house music, my piano and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is actually very, very refreshing, because obviously I've known you as like the rap girl for so long, you know.
Trap.
And you know what I mean. So I imagine it would have been quite freeing for you as well.
My god, yeah. I've had the most freeing experience the past 2 years. It has been like a complete, I don't know, I'm not saying I'm Skepta, but I've definitely shed a new skin, guys. And I've just enjoyed myself again. I think another thing that it's such a long conversation to go through, but post lockdown, you've got to think of, okay, 2019 I get the rap show, 2020 we go into a lockdown, and I have to make one of the biggest radio shows on the planet, right, for the UK especially, and I'm doing that in a lockdown in my house, so I don't get to give or do the show that I want to make. I'm just keeping it alive for X amount of years. I do my own thing with the freestyles. I try and prove a point with all of those things as and where I can. I actually have freestyles with people you will never hear, but they're iconic. And I think I did a really good job given the circumstances. However, I think I also changed a lot in that time period. Like, I was 23 or 24 when I got that show. You're spending a lot more time learning about yourself and growing up, like, to be honest. And I think that maybe what I felt I had to be or make, or what I was, you know, kind of, it was insinuated I had to be, I didn't want to be that person. I think sometimes especially in the UK, I think it can be quite hard because things are so branded. Like, you can't, if you are the rap show, then maybe you're supposed to dress a certain way, be a certain way, be a bit of a character. I refused to do that. Like, I was like, I'm literally going in as a sneaky girl from Telford, like, you know. But then there are pressures, because you want to make sure that people are happy with what they're listening to. And I listen to everything, so I can do the bang your doors stuff, I can do the, do you know what I mean? But I want to throw other things in too. But it's a primetime radio show. I cannot, sadly, do what I want to do and do an around the world going off of one sample show, you know, because that's where my love really is. So I guess stepping away from that show, I wasn't in a great place mentally. I'd just lost a bunch of friends, like, you know, it was a weird time. Like, so many people passed away, so many people died, so many people I knew it was just a weird time. And I think I just needed a bit of a respite from it. Like, I think I just needed a bit of time to kind of process, what do I even want to do? Like, you fall out of love with things all the time, you know, and I didn't want to fall out of love with hip hop. I didn't want to fall out of love with music. and I was starting to, and I just needed a breather. I needed to take a sec to fall back in love with something. And I think the challenge just went for me. Again, it's outside of radio. When you establish yourself, it's like everybody says as a DJ, the actually, when you look back, the fun part is being the opening DJ. Like the warm-up set and the challenge of the warm-up set is the fun part. Because when you start being prime time, you are just playing the hits. There is no challenge in it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, and I think when the UK is so small that sometimes when you're branded as one thing, you're just on a hamster wheel. You're doing the same thing constantly. Same festival, same lineup, same, you know, and you're expected to be the same person constantly. There's only so much amount of time you can do that for. When you are someone like me who is curious about life, who is curious about music, who is curious about, you know, it's not a business thing for me. I'm not building a brand. I truly love this and I wanted to love it again. So I took a bit of a break and then I was like, I still want to be a nerd. You know, I mean, nothing's changed. Like my show, my DJ sets, everything. Like I still play hip hop. I still play rap. I'm still, I mean, you'll see when we play rap trivia, like there's still me. But I've always been a lover of, especially of hip hop in a way where I will dissect a song. I will go and find the sample. I will go and listen to that album from the 60s where they got the sample from and I'll find it. And then I'll go to this song, or I'll go and watch a Daft Punk set on Coachella and watch how they've done this and how that, you know, I mean, I've always been interlinking genres. I've always been interlinking, you know, I had a side thing alongside being Tiffany Calver. I had to make a side profile called Myself and Others before it was No Requests. I have over 10 million streams on Soundcloud where I made audio advent calendars with producers. I've always been these 2, 3, 5 people. I'm just unapologetic about it now, and I don't believe in pigeonholing tastemakers. I don't believe in pigeonholing people who can really have valuable opinions on music, and I don't want to do that, and I don't have to anymore, which is lovely.
But with that then, I mean, do you enjoy like what you said about like headline DJ sets? Do you enjoy them?
I enjoy mine, which is why I made my own party. I think I started to really not enjoy I didn't enjoy festivals. That's what I didn't enjoy. The only festival I really enjoyed after a while was Glastonbury, because that really is just play whatever you want, you know. But when it comes to, hence, when we spoke about Wireless earlier, I have a lot of love for that festival, but I'm 30 and I don't want to play the biggest like 10 songs. I'm not that DJ. There are so many DJs who are amazing at that, and I think it's still a job that needs to be done. It's just not who I am, and I think that's okay to admit as well. I've done it. I didn't enjoy it. I'm not going to be like, everybody turn up mosh pit, you know, like that's not me. Like, and I can't pretend to be that person for the sake of a brand. I'm just not going to do it. There are infinite people who are incredible at it, and they should do it, you know. But yeah.
Do you judge, or how do you judge other DJs?
Oh, I'm the worst at this. My face is so bad. Like if we're in a club or we're at a party, and I'm sure you guys do as well because you like music, innit? It's like I can't help it, and I really try not to, and I really try and be in the moment. But if there's a really weird moment, it's honestly like I'm glitching. Like I'll be trying to talk to my friend, and they'll be talking to me, and my eyes almost like.
Is that from a technical standpoint, or like just a okay?
No, but you know.
Yeah.
You know. But like as a DJ, it happens. Like it's happened to me so many times. And actually sometimes what's really annoying is you can't really stop and get on the mic and be like, just so you know, guys, they've given me one broken CDJ. This is jammed. There's a drink in this. It's sticky. That is not me. This is not my fault. Like,
that would really help.
Nobody, but
you don't ever think about
knows.
it. You don't ever think about
it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not there judging hard unless it's like so blatantly obvious that was your decision to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, things happen, but you can't help it. It's like, it's just, I don't know. It's almost like talking to somebody in English, but your mother tongue is kind of translating in your head. So it's like I'm there listening to my friend, and like my eyes are just elsewhere, and I'm just like Jesus, like what is happening? And I can't help it. Yeah.
Is there
I
like-
do judge. Yeah.
I hear it. Is there like a cardinal sin that you've seen from DJs that they just should not do?
Yes. I really would like if we could let songs play a bit longer. I would love if we could bring that back to the dance floor, please. I don't want to doom scroll on the dance floor. Like, I don't need TikTok on the dance floor, please. I would like to hear a bridge.
At least.
You know, I'd like to hear, like, come on. Sometimes the best verses are towards the end, and, like, you've got to let it grow. You have to let it grow. So that is absolutely one thing I'd be over the moon if we could do. There's one place that does this really well, and I think if you're not representing this sound, maybe don't. Speeding up songs, right? Dancehall culture, sound system culture, absolutely yes. Anyone else, absolutely no. Please stop. Like, the song shouldn't be 10 BPM more.
Yeah, I can't stand
It's like, are you really trying to hear Gen Z Love by Central C plus 10 BPM?
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
It's not popcorn, It's not the one. But yeah.
Would you or have you dabbled in production?
I am dabbling, yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I'm loving it. I used to think, I used to stop myself from doing production because I thought I already wore too many hats, and I was like, this is just going to piss everyone off now. Like, oh, Jesus, like, just choose something, But again, just going through, I guess, the past couple of years of just looking for joy in everything I'm doing. Production is definitely one of them. And I've been working on a project for the past, I would say, 4 years. And it has changed a lot of times. I've scrapped it a lot of times. And it's just been really fun figuring out even what sound I am or what I want to make. I still don't know. It changes every day. A bit like your playlist.
It gets like that sometimes.
I've been just hearing you talk about how much of a nerd you are when it comes to like the music and the samples. I think the natural progression sounds like production.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Is it quite nerve-wracking? Just the thought of that,
Yeah. Do you know what it is? My dad, when he used to have me every few weeks or whenever he'd have me, I don't think he really knew how to hang out with me. So he'd put me on Ableton. I'm not even joking.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It's so, why Ableton, Dad? Not even a Logic. So now I feel like I have to use Ableton out of respect. So I'm doing Ableton, and that's wow. I might as well have been studying maths or something.
Science, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
AI. It's so not fun, but when you crack it, it's the best feeling ever. And I have a lot of very patient friends who are happy to teach me as well, or come in and show me how to do something, because it's so difficult. But I've been really enjoying the process, and I don't know. But I think whatever I make, it's not. I don't want it to be defining or really important. I don't know how to describe. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
It's just an outlet.
It's
just for fun. It's just this sounds strange, but it's out there, and now I move on. It's like a weird tweet, Yeah.
Some tweets you can't get away from that.
Yeah. Very true, and we'll find out with this music.
Big time. But going back to the rap show, what significance, when you look back, what significance do you put on being the first woman to host it?
Again, a tough conversation to have, because there are definitely things that I think I'm still wrapping my head around. I don't think it was about me, and I think it kind of got taken away from me because of the grandeur of it. I get it, and it is history making, and it is whatever. Yes, I think absolutely there were women who have done hip hop on radio before, but that specific show, I think it was a massive thing because it was a white man, a mixed race female. What? And it doesn't make sense. I had worked so hard on avoiding being judged for being a woman DJing. I used to not wear makeup. I still clearly don't, but I used to not wear makeup. I used to wear tracksuits or basically pajamas to DJ in, because I did not want anybody to look at me and think I was even trying to imply that my looks are why I'm here. Like, I was so nervous about any of that, and I wanted to earn respect so much. Like, so there was a lot of that. I understood the significance of it. I think it is really important. I love the fact that there are so many women now that it's almost like it's not even a thing. Do you know what I mean? I think that's so important. It's like Essie is on Kiss, there's Ellie Prohan, even like Henry. Like, there's so many women in these spaces that it's normal, and I'm really happy about that, because hopefully they never experience that side of things.
And with your show now, obviously you spoke about not necessarily having the freedoms that you maybe would have wanted with the rap show. How freeing is it to have your own show and be able to kind of just like be the captain of your own ship?
Oh, so much fun. Every week is like, it's a wild ride, and I literally have the best time ever, because I can do and be and play whatever I want, and that doesn't mean that I'm shunning out any genre. Like, I'm still I played Future into like Daft Punk into Tory Moi the other day, and it's like, it's so weird, but I love it. Like, and actually it's so not different, because this is who I was when I was on NTS, like when I was on Radar, and I was at the very beginning. You know, that is who I was. I was playing weird tunes together because I was figuring out how to DJ, and these were the songs I liked, and I'm just that person again. So it's actually weird. It's almost like I've done a bit of a spin
Back to your roots.
back to my roots,
In a sense.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
What's been your biggest like pinch me moment so far in your career?
God. In life.
In your career.
Oh, pinch me. That's a good question. There's been a few moments that could be a pinch me, you know? There's a few.
Go for a top 3 if it's easier for you that way.
Top 3. Ooh. Top 3 pinch me moments. It's just too easy. Like, of course it was a pinch me moment, like my first ever radio show on the BBC. Because I grew up, that was my religion. Like, listening to the BBC was as much a part of my life as eating toast was. Do you know what I mean? It was always in the background. It was always around. So the fact I was even in that building, which is why I even came to London, and like, you know what I mean? You know, when you've just romanticised something. Like, I'll never forget that. That will always be a pinch me moment, for sure. I was crying my eyes out. It was really funny. And my first song that I ever played was Jay-Z.
Which one?
Okay.
PSA.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I ended the rap show on You Don't Know.
Jeez.
I was clearly pissed off. But yeah, so that will always be a pinch me moment. Another pinch me moment. I don't know if it's either going to be at the O2 on the Drake tour, or when he posted the flyer and I was hungover and I was like, what? Like, I thought he was joking about me going on that tour. I didn't think he was being serious. And then I just woke up and I was quite hungover with my friend Lauren, and we were just, my phone crashed and I was like, what's going on? And then he tagged me in a tour flyer being like, opening sound set from Tiffany. And I thought he was joking. Like, he was just like, oh, he's a massive fan of Fredo. He was like, oh, I'm going to be in Manchester at the same time on tour. And I was like, oh, do you want to come out? Like, I'd been like, oh, it'd be great if you could come out at Fredo's show, because I was Fredo's DJ at the time. We actually went to college together. Long story. And so he's been like, yeah, absolutely. Do you want to open? Because he met me at somebody's birthday party that I was DJing. So that's how we connected. So he knew I wasn't a terrible DJ, but he was kind of like, yeah, do you want to open the next day? And I'd said something cheeky, like I was like, oh, like, if you got someone else for the rest of the tour, like, kind of thing. And he was like, no, you can do it if you want. And I was like, oh, cool. That was it. That was the conversation. Like, on DM. Like, it wasn't like an organised thing. And then I got tagged in a flyer and I was like, right. And I think that was a pinch me of just like, sorry, Champagne Pappy has tagged me in a flyer. And I think then I was shook. I was like, I'm about to go on the biggest tour of my life, I think. And yeah, 2019 was a great time for TC. Another pinch me moment. I always get a pinch me moment. Do you know why? I think it's imposter syndrome maybe. But I always get a pinch me moment at some point randomly at one of my parties. Like, I will never take for granted, especially in the more recent ones when I do no requests. The first one I did was almost like cathartic. It was weird. I was clearly getting a lot of emotions out. I literally left my final show of the rap show and I went straight to Village Underground, which is where I used to religiously go to Living Proof and all the like sick hip hop parties back in the day. So I really wanted it to be that venue, and I'd sold it out, which again was just like wow to me. And I played for 4 or 5 hours. I had nobody else. I had an opening DJ and a closing DJ, but like I played for a good 4 hours. Anything I wanted. I think I just was like, holy shit. Like because it's a weird transition. It's not just weird for me. It's weird for anyone who's been following me along the way. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird transition for us all to go through. Like, you've got used to me being this person, and now you're choosing to be here and let me figure out who I'm gonna be now in a way, or you're open to it, you know. And so to sell that out and kind of watch people be there for all different parts of the night and just let me vibe, I think that was a pinch me moment for sure, of just like, oh, this is nice, you know. Oh, thanks guys. You know? So, there's definitely more, but
yeah, of course. I mean,
yeah, still don't have my fifth person.
Just as an update.
Yeah, just so everyone knows. Yeah. Well,
speaking about no requests, I mean, obviously it's a party as well. It's also a record label as well, right?
Yeah.
So when did that come about as far as like the label side of things?
2020. When I realised I cannot just be a DJ for the rest of my life, sadly, because the clubs was closed. It's definitely always been a dream of mine to, I guess, expand and go back to all of these other things I'd found love and passion for before I got into DJing. 2020, when we were locked down, I think it just kind of rushed those things forward a bit more. Instead of always pushing things to the side and being like another time, the time just becomes now. You can't keep like pushing these things. So I got really serious about wanting to start a label, and then I've learned so many lessons along the way, guys. Oh my god. But so I started a label. I had a JV situation. I realised I don't love majors. I don't think that the kind of label I want is attached to a major. I don't know if I believe in that structure. And I don't know how comfortable I feel being on that side of history. I think, you know, anything I've ever done, anything I've ever championed has always been about the future. And so it didn't feel right in my spirit to be sat in the past when there was so much exciting stuff going on in the future. When you're looking at all of these new kinds of deal formats, when you're looking at what even is a label to an artist these days, like I didn't enjoy being on the wrong side of history. So did that for a couple of years, had some wicked life lessons for sure. And I think I really utilised that position to, I don't know, I guess empower people that a lot of people weren't confident in before. I'm an empath for sure. And we signed Bando K, and when I signed Bando, it was because I'd sat with him, I'd met with him, and there was a lot going on there. And I was just like, I really want someone to give you the space to get this out. Like, I really want you to get your story out. I really want that for you. Like, you deserve that. And you had to have a lot of patience with Bando, but I had it for him, and you know, I had a lot of grace for him and a lot of empathy for a lot of the situations he's been through in life that I personally don't feel a lot of labels have that duty of care to artists. So I'm really glad we got to do that together, and he got to put a project out. It wasn't about anything else to me apart from that. And you know, I always say I'm probably going to be like very broke at 80, like looking back at my life, like what did I do, you know? But I will always be very proud of the person I was, and the fact that it's never been a money grab thing. It's never been a streams or a stats or anything. It's been about like what actually is the purpose in this. Like there's always a purpose to something with me, and Bando, like there was a purpose to that signing. It wasn't about hits. I wasn't trying to force him to do features. I wasn't trying to force him to do anything. I was forcing him to heal. I was forcing him to tell us his story, and I had so much fun learning about the record label business through him. We signed one TikTok hit, one TikTok smash, which I'm sure the president of the label was really happy about. There was this tune called She's a 10 But. Shout out to Spencer Elmer. I think he's actually a really wicked artist. I mean, who else have we got? M-Way from Nottingham.
I did his artist bio.
Yes.
Yeah.
I picked you.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Salute to you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
M-Way, again, I mean, I talk to him still. Did very short-term deals with all of them because I just, again, I think in the future, whereas a lot of artists have been in situations and deals, I'm sure you've heard, where it's 8 albums, do you know what I mean? Or it's, you know, and they're completely trapped. And I don't think they like this again, but I wanted to do everything very short term. I believe in working with people where it works for you both. And if it doesn't, then everyone's free to go. You know, I'm not trying to have you be like 45 drunk at a Christmas table being like, Tiffany Calver ruined my life, you know? Like, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, of course.
Like, at all. So I keep all my deals short term.
From a creative standpoint, what do you think is the difference between being on a major label versus independent? Because we have that chat all the time about what's the preference.
I think that both can be important at the same time. Like I'm definitely not gonna take away from major labels. I think there is a purpose for them. I think they're a machine. I think they're a bank. I think they can be very useful if they're utilized in the right way. I think if you have a very strong team, a very strong strategy, a big sense of self, you do not need, you know, to be developed, etc., etc. Be independent. I don't think you need the machine. If you need the machine or you need to tap into the machine, tap into it, but just understand what you're getting yourself into, and be smart. I think, you know, a lot of musicians are in different positions these days of how you can negotiate a deal, because the information's there for you. And I think actually, testament again to Jay-Z in my top 5, but like a lot of artists do give you game, like they do tell you all about this stuff. I think there was a weird time in the UK where everyone was very influenced by, you know, D Block Europe, Dave, etc., and they're like, I need to be independent. And I don't think everybody needed to be independent, to be honest. I think sometimes there is good in record labels, but you just have to use them in the right way. I think we need to look at managers. That's what I think we need to look at. Choose your manager wisely, guys.
Yeah, no one ever really speaks on that. No one ever really
That's
speaks
a
on
fact, by the way.
that. Like, you signed that deal, someone got you to sign that deal, someone
I think I saw something recently where I think Shabo was talking about an issue with her manager where funds had actually been like stolen.
Let's talk about commission here. I've witnessed what, so say you've gone viral on TikTok, and then all of a sudden you've got a manager, and then your manager signs you to a record label for 250 grand, and then your manager takes 20% of this and then goes off and goes and signs somebody else to a record label. There are genuinely managers that is their business. It's scary to me. I'm just like,
you're left on an island by yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've definitely learned with age as well, and time, even in my own situations. Like sometimes you don't need 5 million people to tell you who you are. You know, just because they're older than you or they're more experienced or established or whatever, does not take away from the fact that you know who you are. And I think that in a lot of situations, a lot of these kids, especially with black music, it's young. It's young music.
Yeah.
They're very impressionable. Of course, you're going to look to an older person to kind of tell you what to do or what to sign or who to be, because they're experienced. They've done this before, right? No. Like, a lot of people have to stop using the same accountants as their managers. They have to stop using the same lawyers as their managers or as their label or as anyone. Have your own separate people. Do not trust anyone. No, I'm joking, but like, you've got to be so careful with this stuff. Labels are one of very many evils in many ways. And actually, I see a purpose in labels still. There are more scary things like who is controlling who you become as an artist and who's I guess telling you what to do, who to be, who's saying yes in the room when you're not there. You know, all of these things are really important as well. So yeah, choose your manager. Choose your manager wisely, guys.
I see consultancy in your future.
I would love to be a consultant, but I think I'm too honest.
That's needed.
Yeah, I think that I'm too honest.
Yeah, some people, I mean, especially in this scene, like, no one wants honest.
No, but I'm proud of myself for that, and I think that's why I really love having these kind of conversations, or I'm really good friends with people like Mimi, who just says what's on her mind. I'm
Mimi.
like, do you know
Salute
what?
to Mimi, man.
Yeah, but she's also not afraid to do it, and that takes a lot of balls, especially over here. There are a lot of people that don't say anything or who don't pipe up because they don't want anybody to look at them sideways. Sometimes you just got to be honest. But I will definitely be the one in the room like, nah, tomato, you know, like I'm very honest. I'd love to consult. I definitely, you know, the label is going to come back. I know what I want the label to be is definitely not going to be tied to a major. I've had a multitude of conversations. It's just not the path I want to go down, but I know what I want to make. I know what I want to release on it. And again, you know, it's not like I'm, you know, curing some crazy disease. Like, I'm not technically saving lives. I'm just making opportunities, making impact, and do my small bit to make myself and other people happy.
Do you consider yourself a gatekeeper?
What's a gatekeeper though?
Like an individual or amongst individuals that I guess allow access or help with access to the culture or can
like
stop access.
Like they ring fence it.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No.
I think that my generation, well, I'd like to think my generation are different to that, because we've been gatekeepers. Like,
but I don't think it's a negative though.
What, where you ring fence?
I don't think it can. I think sometimes, well, they call me a snob all the time. So I think from my perspective, I think it helps with quality control within a culture.
Maybe I gatekeep like my track list.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe like radio, like I probably gatekeep in that sense.
Okay.
But I think whenever I've heard, that's why I was like, what do you mean by gatekeep? Because where did I see this? I don't really follow. I'm not on Twitter, but I saw something around this conversation before online, and I think it gets misconstrued what people mean by gatekeeping. I don't personally feel like anyone is gatekeeping anything. Like, I think people like AG, for example, are really important. I think Mimi is really important. I think if anybody's ever asked me a question or they've asked me for anything, for sure, unless it's weird, like, do you know what I mean? If someone's been like, can I have your number? And I've been like, yeah, here's my email. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's
happened to me before.
Maybe that's gatekeeping, but like, I'm gatekeeping my personal information. But otherwise, like, I've always been such an advocate of like dropping the keys, the gems, to everything. Like, there are some funny conversations that are recorded at the BBC, like before I've interviewed people, where it's like we'll be catching up quickly and someone might have just signed like a deal and got a hit record, and I'll be like, okay, so who's your accountant? What are you doing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I will always be like, I'm like everyone's mum.
Good, yeah, it's needed, man.
But yeah, no, I'm always here to share. But Yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
But no, I mean, even you've mentioned AG, you mentioned Mimi. I would definitely put you in there as well, as far as like being a conduit, allowing people
I like
to be.
that. Not a gatekeeper.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Being a better word.
Yeah, being.
Does it sound negative?
Gatekeepers. That's what I was like. Do you mean like ring fence?
Right.
I think because it's got their different. You can have so many different definitions for.
Because like, for example, a lot of people feel like back in the day, like I would say, music, like the record labels gatekeep the official charts, right? So to me, I was like, what do you mean by gatekeep?
Yeah.
But the official charts used to feel like you couldn't get on it because it was gatekept by record labels telling you what to listen to, vibes, you know. Whereas now it's like,
Or even the type of artist to be.
no. Whereas now it's TikTok, it's Playboy Cardi. No, I'm joking, but. You know?
Yeah, that's the second sub for Playboy Cardi this episode.
No. I have my personal.
I can't name you a song of his, by the way, for what it's worth.
A
single song.
I can. R.I.P.
RP, Magnolia.
Lean for real.
Wait,
Magnolia,
Magnolia
of
sounds familiar.
course,
Magnolia
yeah.
sounds familiar.
Love
Magnolia
Hurts
sounds
with
familiar.
Travis Scott. Okay, I do know some Playboy Cardi.
Yeah, man.
Sky.
No,
I am a DJ, guys. You
Yeah,
know?
No, you have to. No, you have to. Peter.
No, I have my.
Yeah.
I have my personal things for Playboy Cardi. My brother's obsessed. And it's
Yeah,
just
he's
like,
got a crazy fan base.
Yeah,
he's got.
and they.
No, he does.
It's kind of punk rocky.
Yeah.
Very,
Like the way they go for it is very. They are ragers.
Yeah.
yeah, Ragers.
Serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very weird.
I had an emo fringe once. I get it. That's fine. I'm from Telford. Don't worry, that part's not coming back. I'm just playing like house music and stuff. It's fine.
Well, what's on the bucket list for Tiffany Calver?
Ooh, on the bucket list, actually release music and not be so scared about it. To keep doing things that just bring me joy. I think that's the most important thing. Keep going at my own pace. Just keep being me, man. Keep rocking in the free world.
I knew you were gonna say that. Do.
Do.
Okay.
That
even
only
Moni,
time I've
salute.
ever been starstruck meeting Nardwar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I met Nardwar.
You met
once.
Nardwar?
Yeah. In
I think I'll be starstruck.
Austin, Texas.
What's he like? Like proper?
Exactly what you
He's
think
the
he'll
goat.
be. Yeah.
He's
Have you
the
ever
goat.
met Amelia
Yes.
Dims? Like that's a great introduction
Yeah.
to like getting into Nardwar. Like just that energy. But like holy shit, it's Nardwar.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. 100%.
That's my guy, man.
Yeah. Maybe on my bucket list is like I would love to give the one thing I was sad I didn't do with the rap show out of my hands, but I always wanted to give our artists, our scene, their Zane Lowe. Like I always wanted to give people that interview, and I never got to do that. So that's definitely on my bucket list as well. I think, and also to stop being scared of social media. I don't understand it, but I'm only 30, so
What do you mean scared of social media?
I just don't get it.
I don't
man.
blame you.
I mean, it's changing. It always
being
changes.
a DJ and using social media is like that's literally you're told that's what you have to do now, and
I've seen you comment on this. Like,
yeah.
poster bio.
I just feel like I'm having a you moment with who was it? Was it Drake back in the day? Who did you not want to listen to?
Oh, Jay-Z.
Right.
Yeah.
So your Jay-Z rebellion is my social media rebellion of like, oh, I have to do this. Absolutely
No,
not.
social
Yeah,
is
yeah.
actually the
I hear that.
pits.
But I'm trying to find ways to like enjoy it. You know?
It's the pits of hell.
Yeah.
That it really is.
But
Yeah,
you've gotten
it's
to where
tough.
you've gotten to without using it that much, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I guess, or just in my own way. Like I love social media. I wouldn't be here without social media. I don't want to make like clickbait viral clips of me DJing, playing like a weird edit I didn't make, and that defines my career. Like, and unfortunately, it's not even the DJ's fault, like who are doing this, because I play tunes like that all the time. It's fine, but it's not them who choose this. It's everyone else, and it's like, unfortunately now for club goers, and like especially new club goers, this is what they kind of expect from DJing now.
Yeah.
And I hate that. So basically, I just want to go viral for not playing a mashup.
I respect it.
Which I'm sure you can do.
Yeah, hopefully.
For sure.
Watch me go viral for playing a mashup. Please clip this when I do.
I'm gonna
Because I'll be gassed.
I've got you.
I'll be like, yeah, I made it.
happens.
definitely
Yeah.
clipping up. Well, Tiffany, man, I mean, listen, you are one of the most important voices, I'd say, in our scene. You have been for years now, and I know you will continue to be. So, as you say, keep on rocking in the free world, and and being you, man. We're gonna wrap up with the second edition of the Rhymes Like Dimes Hip Hop Trivia Extravaganza with Tiffany Calver, and this time, just to make sure that there's no accusations of cheating or PGMOL or anything, I've gotten some buzzers. So rather than shouting, you can now press the button.
Makes sense.
You good, yeah?
That makes sense.
Lovely. So, gonna ask some questions. None of them are multiple choice. These are all just straight answers, yeah? And the first person to hit the bell with the correct answer gets the point. All right, so the first question. After the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, J. Cole joined which artist on a stage in Austin?
Wait, hold
Go.
on.
Go on, Mo.
I don't know why I pressed the button. After the Million Man March,
What is that?
isn't that a march back in the day?
the
How
20
is J. Cole
yeah.
walking out?
MLK and that did.
MLK.
Say it again.
After the 20th anniversary,
said MGK.
it wasn't MLK,
Machine
by
Gun
the way.
Kelly.
That's years later, years before even. After the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March,
Yeah.
J. Cole joined which artist on a stage in Austin?
J. Cole joined the artist in the.
I'm not gonna
Why are you
repeat
repeating
this.
the
I'm not gonna
question
repeat
like
this again.
the answer's gonna
So,
come to you?
10.
In Austin.
Oh, no,
Is it a rapper?
Wait, is that a festival? Can you say? No.
Can you say if it's a rapper? Or
South
is it
by
a singer?
Southwest.
It's a rapper.
I actually didn't mean to do that. Austin.
It was Drake, guys.
Oh, okay,
right.
fine.
It was Drake.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that.
Oh,
Nilo.
you should have got that.
Why am I gonna know a
Because
random show J. Cole
We
does?
should have known
Yeah,
that.
that's what
Black
I
Thought.
Nilo.
We both put it down.
Well,
They should have known that.
Black
Nilo.
Thought had a show last week with Jimmy Fallon. Who was the guest?
There was no guest.
Right, fair enough.
There's always a guest. Don't let him guess you.
No, I just left it.
All right, cool. Question 2. All right. Which of these is not a rhyme sayers artist? Slug, Brother Ali, Aesop Rock, or LP?
I said it first.
LP.
He said it first.
said it first.
He rang the bell.
Oh,
buzzer
here we
first.
go. We go.
LP.
Correct.
What listen, so-
You flopped that one. You flopped that one still.
I was gonna say ASAP.
Yeah.
That's not ASAP Rocky.
No, Aesop Rock. Aesop
First.
Rock. All right, cool. So, for this one. Question 3. 1-0 to Mo.
Shout out to brother.
Wow.
It's crazy.
What was Tupac's comeback single after his release from prison? Let me finish the question.
You know what?
Like you're doing what Mo did last time.
Go on.
What was Tupac's comeback single after his release from prison in 1995?
California Love.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So
I don't want to be a part of this, B. I'm just like,
This is the last question, or you're done?
We can get another one after
Yeah,
this.
final one.
he's
All right,
in.
cool. This is question 3. Which producer did
Sorry. They're really competitive.
Yeah, they are.
I feel like I'm like an ad lib in this situation.
I thought you were going to be competitive.
No. And then I saw the way you two were. Like, I could
No, I'm
feel
moving.
the energy from both of you. And I'm just like, I'm not involved.
All right, this one's for the heads.
Okay. Okay.
Which producer did Del the Funky Homo Sapien work with on Deltron 3030? Static Selector, Jay Dilla, Pete Rock, or Dan the Automator?
Static Selector.
Incorrect.
Did you just know that name?
Nah, not all the names, but you know, Pete, you should know this.
Yeah, I feel like this
I'm
is
beat.
a
You
you
should know this,
one.
man.
I'm beat. I have no idea.
Is it Jay Dilla?
Hell no.
No, I was gonna say like.
Yeah, I didn't
Hell
think
no.
it was
Like,
relative.
Hell no. Dan the Automator.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know
wouldn't
who
have
that
got
is.
that
All
one.
right, cool.
Automator.
Dan the Automator.
Some names
Yeah,
should be
multiple
just
choice.
banned.
Why should it be banned?
Dan the Automator.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
This should be a good one.
What's wrong with Dan
All right, so
Automator?
this one
Your
is
car.
multiple choice as well.
Okay.
Which 2 albums came out on the same day? Before the Money and Tetsuan Youth. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back and follow the leader. The College Dropout and Mad Villainy, or Train of Thought and Like Water for Chocolate.
The third one.
Incorrect.
The fourth one.
Can't do that.
The first one.
Correct.
Who wrote
Oh, no,
these?
God bless you guys.
Who wrote
I got
these
that one right.
questions?
Salute
Thing
to
is,
you.
they're either like super duper easy or like
They're
this.
like, whoa.
All right, okay. This will be the last one.
For
This
what?
is almost like if I knew the answers to these, I feel like I'd be a bit like, all right, like You know? Jeez.
All right, cool. I'll end with this one.
All right, go on.
So it's 2-1 to Mo.
Which is crazy.
Sorry,
2-1 to Mo.
let me
It's
play.
crazy. Yeah, nah.
2-1 to
we
Mo.
can't
This is the
let Mo
last
win
one.
This, man.
What do
It's
you
the
mean
last
can't
one.
let Mo win this? You're going
Well,
to let Mo win
he's
this.
won.
Yeah, charge
It's
it
not over yet.
Charge it to the game.
Okay.
All right. Final question for all the glory. Who created the first gangster rap album? This is a multiple choice, by the way.
Sorry.
Multiple
Sorry,
choice.
sorry,
Multiple
sorry,
choice.
sorry,
Multiple
sorry.
choice.
My
No, that's my fault.
eagerness
That's
to make sure
my
that
fault.
Mo
That's my
don't
fault.
win, yeah.
That's my fault. That's my
You
fault.
can't do
That's
that.
my fault. That's my fault.
So he's out of this round.
No.
What?
No.
I take
See
it
what
back.
I have to deal with.
I apologize. So
Alright.
wait, how
Wait,
does
I
this
know
work?
the
Do
answer.
we still press the bell after you say the 4 names?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
How do you not know this,
Because he pressed the bell, I don't know if he
Was
got
it that-
charged.
Because he's moving
Got
mad.
eager,
Go on,
innit?
He's moving mad. All right, so multiple choice. Who created the first gangster rap album? Boogie Down Productions, Wu-Tang Clan, NWA, or Ice-T?
That was me.
It was Mo.
NWA.
Correct.
God bless you guys.
That's a lie.
That's a
was
lie.
Mo.
Go
That's not
take,
true.
Take
It
out with
was-
hip hop
It's not
trivia.
NWA.
Wrap the show up.
it says
Take
here.
out with hip
No,
hop
that's
trivia.
they're wrong.
So, in the second edition of the Rhymes Like Dimes Hip Hop Trivia Extravaganza, Mo takes the cake.
Come on.
So, the overall standings is it's 1-1 each way.
Yep.
So, I guess we'll see what happens
Mo didn't win that.
on the next one. He did win.
Since the rules have been
He
here
did
with the
win
bell,
that. He did
I
win
won.
that.
Coincidence?
It's always
I
see
think not.
when one of them wins, it's a conspiracy. When the other one wins, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, I
you
didn't wanna
can't.
be
You can't.
involved.
You can't.
Shout out to
I
J-Hop.
understand
It's
why
like-
you do the questions.
Oh, this is
I
fun.
gave up. Like round 2, I was like, this
Shout out to-
isn't even about me.
This is
Like,
hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah, this is hilarious. They both think they're a victim every time.
No.
No, I'm just saying Mo didn't win. I'm not a victim, but Mo didn't win.
So who won?
Why
Because
do
that last question wasn't. You said it was wrong.
But you still got it wrong.
Thank
Yeah,
you
but he
so
didn't get it
much, guys.
God bless you. Honestly,
Anyway. Yeah. Let's wrap up there. But yes, thank you, Tiffany. Thank you so much for coming down and you're gracing us with your presence, man. How can people reach you?
Do you want to be
Don't.
reached?
Ironically, social media.
Yeah, I mean, what's that Gets tune? Don't call me just because you got my number in it. Like, no, at Tiffany Calver on Instagram. That's kind of all I have now. Don't really believe in X anymore. Just shoot me a DM on there, I guess. See what happens. Roll the dice.
I hear it.
I have nothing to promote. I'm just here to chat shit.
She may respond. She may not.
Yeah.
Your decision. But anyway, thank you. Appreciate it.
No
Yeah,
worries.
man, thank you.
Boys, any shout outs before we take people out?
nah, man.
Nah, Cleo Soul, big up Cleo Soul.
Oh, we're back to shouting her out now. Okay, cool. We knew it would come back. He has a history of shouting out Cleo Soul.
Oh.
And then he saw
That's a
Cleo
big
Soul at the Royal Albert Hall. And then that was the peak. And then he stopped and now he's back.
I'm just a big fan.
Fair enough. Me too.
Yeah.
I hear
Great music. Yeah,
First.
it.
Yeah.
I shout out Dochi.
yeah of course.
Yeah, big up.
Shout
Shout out
out.
to Dolce.
Tried to sign her. Anyway,
Oh, really?
just another one that nobody wanted to listen to me on.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
right.
damn, really?
Yeah.
Ah, damn it, man.
And that's a great way to end.
That is a great way to end. I hear it. Big up Drake's in the cut as always as well. Big up everybody listening and watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care, stay safe, stay blessed,
Stay black.
and peace.
Do.